Bring you guys in. Hello and welcome to the Captain Tables, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Berserker01 Batman Shelley. Your humble host and space bartender here at the Astro Pub. Your space bartender Twitch. I'm trying some new stuff, so I'm trying to make sure they can hear me and everything else like that, because my headset might go out for no reason because it's not technically on or whatever. But so for those of you guys,
some slippers.
Yes. Wait, me? What?
Me, what?
SMB, what are you doing?
Socks! I needed some socks. That's why I left. I didn't realise we were going live right now. I'm sorry.
He's got big fuzzy, what the hell
feet.
Is it called? Feet.
Like hobbits.
I was gonna say something to the effect of you've got
Legs,
freaking
feet, a penis.
Yes, penis. I was gonna make some alien joke about like how your socks are made of the Banu.
You're shit with words today, Paul. You
I'm
are
terrible
shit
with
with words.
Welcome to
You
the
need a
Captain's
drink or
Table.
three.
I need a drink.
There we go.
Yeah. So, anyways, for those of you guys who don't know, Captain's Table is where I bring in people from all over the community to talk about Star Citizen, community content creators usually. But we just sometimes talk about Star Citizen. Sometimes we just get drunk and do dumb shit. Depends on what we're feeling.
I work for the latter.
On that note, we're gonna start with the man at the head of the table, who's at the head of the table always, because he's the head of the table.
A head.
He's a head. He's an egg.
Fine words, Paul. Fine words. Cheers.
He is actually 100% God honest truth. The model for the new nude naked male in 4K with 4K genitals. That's 100% based. So your Star Citizen player model is based off of Board Gamer. Totally true.
They tried to scale my skeleton down for the female model as well, and they went, "We can't scale this down for perfection."
Yes,
so.
they had to use twerk. That's the
twerk is the female model.
He is. He's the female model.
Trixie.
So who are you, Board? What do you do in Star Citizen?
I'm Board Gamer. I do what most of everyone else around this table does about Star Citizen, create content on various things, either videos or stream. We try and play games of it, but sometimes we have to wait up like to 10 months for a patch.
No.
Not salty. Not salty. No salt in chat.
Not salty.
Not salty. Next we have, he's a Canadian. He has a bow tie and a sweater vest.
Saying it so.
That's
Hi.
what happens all the time. Who are you?
That was it. That was the introduction.
Hi, yeah. I'm Eris. I bought a house today. I do what nobody else on this table does when it comes to Star Citizen, which is that I don't play the games, and I don't do any video content, and I only write words. And also show up here and drink every once in a while, because I like alcohol. Hi.
You have made some videos, but just not with gameplay. You've done little newscasts and things. I've watched them.
We did inverse newscasts once upon a time. That was fun. And then CIG stopped doing them, and then we stopped doing them, and I missed them.
Reverse the verse? Inverse the verse? That kind of stuff? Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. Inverse the verse and reverse the verse, and then we had... I don't even remember what we had anymore. There's been too many things.
Nobody does the other ones.
That's theirs. But they had... what was it? What was this? The news thing with Sandy Gardner and the guy that they brought in... They had their
Wingman's
weekly...
Hangar?
Oh, right. They had they still do
the in-lore deal.
The in-lore stuff, yeah.
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 I forgot about that, honestly.
The something report, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they had theirs, and theirs were based from Earth.
Rossum.
Yeah, and we started ours based from Terra, providing spin on all of their like Earth-centric and Earth-first, corporate UEE selfish news propaganda. Cause I don't know, I'm just gonna shut up and drink now.
It's good.
I was gonna say, cause
like a good Terran, you're drinking.
Yeah.
Like a red-blooded Terran.
Was it the Empire reports?
Empire
Yes!
Reports? Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
They still do the Empire reports. They just don't do them on video anymore. They're now
Yeah,
like
it's just
little lower segments.
post.
Yeah. Next we have it's super. My words suck. It's Super Mac Bros.
You're shit today.
I'm just terrible at this today.
Yes, hello. Thank you. Super Mac Brothers, Ryan on Mac, YouTube, Twitch. Yeah, it's
But
about
there's
it.
only
Twitter.
one of you.
There is only one of me. He's dead now.
The other brother's dead now. Or it's a mystery that you have to solve about who the other brother is. It turns out
It's going to be
Roberts.
a future story.
It's actually 3 brothers.
Oh, that would be incredible if we were all related and I could get early access to everything. I would just be like, "Fuck you all! I'm down with the kids, CIG kids."
All right. Next we have he's the man from Romania because he's from Romania now.
Apparently.
What? I'm gonna say it until Darge meets me again and he can kick me right in the nuts.
Oh yeah.
One of the lucky sons of bitches who's actually going to CitizenCon. His name's Darge. Who are you, Darge? What do you do in Star Citizen?
Hello. I am Darinator, and I am bursting with fruit flavors.
What Darge is trying to say is that, like your mother, he's a gusher.
Like a gusher.
Oh my
Like a gusher,
god.
yes.
Wow.
Again,
We
some
went
of the
straight
pre-show
there,
stuff
didn't we?
coming.
I went
The reason
straight
why we
there.
talk about this before we go
it can
live
only
is
go
because
up
it's
now.
inappropriate.
I do podcasts. I'm actually guesting on quite a few podcasts lately. So, been talking to. Wait, which way? That way. Yes,
directly
him.
forward.
Talking
Directly forward,
to
that's where the
him
camera
quite a
is.
lot lately, and
That's Mac.
that guy. But other than that, I tried my hand at some YouTube videos, but then I realized there's not enough content, so I'm just going to stop until 3.0 comes out. And I'm drinking wine today because I ran out of everything else.
So
From a crystal
fancy.
glass.
Nope, a normal glass.
Oh.
He wishes it was crystal. He probably has crystal. He just doesn't want to use it for this table.
That's for
And Paul is
special
muted!
people.
Fancy.
I,
Am I muted again?
I love
You are so muted.
I love the fact he's muted.
So the best part about this whole thing is that I'm muted to you guys, but I'm not muted to the rest of the stream. So they're hearing me, and you just aren't
Oh, okay.
because of how I've got everything set up. So
I thought you were just wording so badly that
That's
your
a
headset just went
masterful
ahead and
setup,
muted
Paul.
you.
That's
it's
Wording so
absolute-
badly, you forgot the words.
I'm doing fantastic with this. This stuff is amazing. Yes, I am pro strummer. This is a professional stream.
Pro Strum.
that's good. That's good. That's fine.
This is a
I
serious
like it. It's
podcast.
rough.
Serious podcast. Where were we
Surreal.
again? Oh right, we're at Grit. All right, Grit. What are you? What do you do as
Doesn't
a Star
matter.
Citizen?
These days, I am mostly have been a professional community lurker and podcast guest. I am getting back into streaming. I'm excited to say that I am finally confirmed going to VerseCon, and that's kind of be my starting point to get back into everything. So,
Ooh,
looking forward to VerseCon.
I am looking forward to FirstCon as well.
Where is FirstCon? Where's that held?
It's going to be in Austin, Texas, on the 27th and 28th. It's going to coincide with CitizenCon. But in the future,
Oh, of course.
in the future, it's going to be kind of like the American BritisonCon, a fan convention for North American fans. So probably always on Austin though, just because we have a studio here.
It's gonna be epic.
Rev, my name is Paul Shelley, by the way. Your space bar at the end of Twitch, your bartender. Words don't work right, Paul.
He is the space bar.
What I'm drinking is actually sake. This is actually a sake glass, which you're supposed to sip, but I usually end up using it like a shot glass and shoot it. And don't shoot sake. Shooting sake is a bad thing.
Foreign devil.
Yeah.
Heresy.
It's at least being served properly at 104 degrees Fahrenheit or 40 degrees Celsius. All right.
Nice.
Ooh, what?
Oh
You're
yeah.
really quiet,
It's like
Eris.
it's supposed to be warm.
We're listening
Hello!
to that.
Oh,
Sorry,
Jesus.
I'm
There
back.
he is.
Alrighty. So for those of you guys who don't know, the Captain's Table is a podcast where we talk about the latest goings on of Star Citizen, but it's pretty much a free-form podcast. So we go from whatever we like during the week, and then if we want to talk about it more in depth, we talk about it more in depth. There's really no structure other than the fact that we do a free-form discussion in the beginning, and then we do questions at the end. So to get this started, I'm going to ask Board Gamer.
Hey,
Board,
that's
I've been asking this recently. It's been working very well. Which is, I want to ask you three things. One, what did you like this week? Number two, what did you not like this week? And number 3, was there anything that surprised you this week?
So much pressure.
Well, I suppose what surprised me this week was the Intel Optane CitizenCon leak.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Which was, if people don't know, Gamers Nexus, Steve Burke, got sent a little document about some of the Intel press releases that they're planning to do over the next month or two. And it contained information on the 8700Ks and the new Coffee Lake processors, but also that Intel were doing a promotion at CitizenCon on the 27th with Star Citizen for Star Citizen optimized Optane drives, and it looks like they're going to be releasing their new Optane non-cached drives at the same time, which was interesting because I wouldn't advise people build a PC for Star Citizen until 2019.
Yeah.
So the idea of having hardware this soon is a bit odd to me, but I'd like to see what they're doing.
Maybe for Squadron.
Yeah. When would you advise them building a PC for Squadron?
When Squadron goes to the schedule reports,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
or when
Good answer.
Squadron comes out,
Agreed.
and you can see where the reviews. You get
having
third-party
already
reviews
bought
before.
2 graphics cards is not a good thing, you would say.
I mean, it's not like they're going to go to waste, right?
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, there's lots of really good games that are coming out now. I mean, you could get your game VR ready. There's lots of
Sorry.
things.
Name some good games that have come out now.
Come out now.
Warhammer.
Warhammer 2.
Warhammer Total War 2. That's good, but that is just Warhammer.
Destiny
That
2 is
Warhammer
actually a
Total War
really
1.
Yeah.
good game, except for it's a console exclusive right now. It's
Not out yet.
It is out. It's
not
not
out.
out for PC.
Soon.
You're right. It's not
Mass
out for
Effect
PC.
Andromeda, best game on PC ever.
Yes, hands down, best game,
I
best
hate-
facial animations, bar none.
I hate to say it, but fucking Assassin's Creed.
I am
Is that
looking
out
forward
yet?
to the new Assassin's Creed.
I know, but it's out in a month, right?
Oh, yeah, I'll allow stuff out soon. So Destiny 2's fine.
Yeah.
Assassin's
Okay.
Creed's fine. Is Assassin's Creed going to be good? The new one?
I've
They
never
took
really
two-
played through Assassin's
They took
Creed.
2 years to make it instead
Yeah.
of they took they
that's true.
skipped
Instead of
last
9
year.
months.
They're
The
just
first
DLC
one was really
fests.
good.
Yeah,
Mm.
they are. I like Assassin's Creed because it does a good job of blending history and gaming. My problem about it is
Yeah.
that they haven't changed up the formula at all since the
Yes.
second one.
Yeah, just the date and the scene.
Yeah.
And when they
It's-
have,
it's
it's
the cause.
been bad. Yeah.
The only
It
time
sounds-
the only time that they changed it up was Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and that was the best fucking non-Assassin's
Yes,
Creed.
that
Assassin's
was a
Creed.
I'm
great
okay
Yes.
with them not changing
And it
the
sounds-
formulas of good games, as long as they tweak them to be more
Interesting.
optimized or better
Yeah.
in some way.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
don't
But
need to change
they
the
never.
formula.
The problem with Assassin's Creed was they never touched the combat, and the combat was boring, right? Like it's crap
It's
combat.
Too easy. It's just you hold the button down and then you just,
Yeah.
as long as you're paying attention.
The thing that I'm excited most about Origins is last week they actually announced in 2018, so it's going to take a while after it launches, but they're going to be launching an education mode where there's no combat, there's no story, it's just you walk around and explore, which
Oh.
maybe not for us, but
I'd
I
enjoy
can
that.
think of kids loving that.
Oh yeah.
I
Kinda
like
Huge
to
history
learn.
buff. I would actually love it.
It's really cool because what they're trying to do is put into context of what you're playing. So the education
Yeah.
mode is interesting because if you play the game, you beat the game, and come back for the education mode, and you're like, okay, I've got an hour or so to kill. Let's see what you may have always wanted to know, like what the fuck is going on in this burial chamber, like what is, and they'll talk to you about the process of mummification and like what each of the pots, the jars actually were. So you can feel bad that when you rolled into that pot and smashed it across the wall,
Smash it all, yeah.
that you
It
actually
was some
smashed
advantage.
this dude's heart all over the fucking wall, and you're a son of a bitch, you know?
That almost tempts me enough to not want to play it when it releases and actually do that first and then play the game, knowing
The
all the
context.
history
Yeah.
behind everything,
That's a
because
good
that
idea.
would make the game itself even more interesting to me. Anyway.
No, I agree with that. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as much as I
can't
as
wait.
many people dislike it, and I know there's a lot of people who don't like this. Another good game that's come out, or at least updated this month, is Elite Dangerous. This week it came out with 2.4.
Thargoids
the
are attacking.
Thargoids.
Yeah.
So there's lots of reasons to buy an updated PC, especially if you have an older PC and you want to purchase. PUBG is always a good game, and having that with a better PC is always a good idea.
Yeah, but there's literally no PC that can run PUBG well at some point.
Hey, Dargenator, do you remember what I said last night about Elite Dangerous? I've been trying to remember.
I was drunk last night.
Yeah, so was I.
Please.
That's half the problem.
Oh, alrighty. So, was there anything that you didn't like, Board?
I didn't like that we didn't get an Evocati patch because we had 0 bugs at one point for Evocati release, then 5, and now 1.
Damn Austin.
And
How
so that came
dare they
down-
identify more bugs to fix? God damn it.
well. So that came down literally to a go no go meeting of
Yeah.
is this bug
At least we're
too
in
big?
go no go already.
Yeah.
No go.
Already. Wow, you missed
Already?
that term.
You missed the last 10
Keep in
bucks.
mind-
In terms of this week.
Keep in mind, there were a lot of people that were saying we weren't going to even get to Evocati this year.
Yeah.
People were saying, "Oh, we'll get to ETF in December." You know,
Yeah,
It could be an Evocati until December.
it could.
Yeah.
but
Easily.
when they go to go no go meetings, it's I hate to say this, but
Yeah.
weeks, not months.
Yeah.
Because
It's coming.
because it's at that point there, it's more like, hey, is it everything ready to go? And so it could take a week or two, because go no goes have taken like that before. So
Yeah, I mean, even one bug can last weeks, or it can unravel more.
It depends on what the bug is, yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, being positive and all.
Positivity.
That is just the Evocati build for testing traversal too. So there's still
Yeah.
plenty more Evocati to come.
Board, was there anything else you liked this week? I mean, you don't.
So I suppose what I liked was in the town hall, which I'm sure we'll talk more about later. They basically said that some parts of the game, some supporting features that they want to put in the game, they're not going to put in until much later into either development or after the game's released. And that kind of, we're not going to put more feature creep in, made me feel like, oh my god, someone knows what's going on. That feels good. That feels good. Because
Were you touching yourself like
Yes,
that kid
always.
from Bob's Burgers?
Yes.
Who's listening to music and just going.
there's something about, like, we know that the last of the great feature creep was like procedural planets and procedural cities, and there are these supporting modules that will get added onto things like, oh, we've got procedural planets and procedural cities, but we need this procedural generation of this or some other little supporting systems which can be seen as feature creep, and I just want those to be reined in, because there's always loads of stuff you could add to Star Citizen, but you shouldn't, and we don't want feature creep.
I have a
Core
question
mechanics.
about feature creep. Can I ask a question about feature creep?
Yeah, go for it. This is a we go around the table, and if we want to talk about something brought up, that's fine.
Do we consider procedural planets feature creep since it was one of the stretch goals that, like, it was done way back in the time of the stretch goals when they still were adding stuff?
I guess the stretch
It's
goals
all
can all
feature
be
creep,
classed as
though.
feature creeps.
Yeah,
Because they did stop it purposely at 65 because they thought, well, we need to get at least the
but when, like,
Planets are an tricky one though, because the original plan was it being later.
Yeah, but when, like, I'm just wondering, like, do we have a cutoff for that? Because personally, I haven't seen anything. I've always counted as nothing in those original stretch goals counts as feature creep. Some of the stuff after, kind of, but the stuff in those stretch goals are the things that they sold us on.
It's feature creep, but it's not feature creep you should be angry about.
Well,
Okay.
they're not. I would. I
Yeah,
personally,
okay.
I personally would consider feature creep things that were never expected that cause
Right.
these that are being added. And like you're
That's
saying,
angry feature
almost
creep, though.
almost everything is a stretch goal originally. So
Yeah.
it's not really feature creep. It's just whether or not it's a priority for initial release or post release.
The better way of saying it instead of feature creep is a exuberant features or large numbers of features, or if people are concerned about it, it's like
They're necessities or not.
Okay. We'll say any new features that have not been previously discussed after 2013.
that makes
That's
sense.
feature creep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah?
there's very
Okay.
and to be fair, I think
Expand the
there's
scope of the
there's very few of those. I think one of the
Yeah.
things like survival mechanics would be considered as feature creep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
no, even those, if you go all the way back, even those, Chris has been on record saying that he'd love to do that.
That's true.
in
But-
the future. But that is one of those, like, we'd like to do it in the
And
future. So
Some
Yeah, but
some
how do
of
you
it's
classify the future then?
yeah,
Some of it's an issue of just the very nature of how they're designing this game and how the game functions. Is that if something, even if it's not a necessity as a core mechanic, but the engineering side of it affects or is a tag on to something that is a core mechanic, it kind of has to be done now. Otherwise, it could screw up metrics
Yeah.
2 years down
And
the road.
grabbing hands was not a feature creep. Someone's in chat saying grabbing hands was feature
Yeah.
creep. It wasn't. No. That was part of the original goals.
A lot of stuff that could be classed as feature creeping is things that they've found new tech to create, which has just come through the process of evolution. The whole thing is
building the game. Yeah.
Reiteration
it's-
and refinement. Yes.
Yeah, and that's not feature creeping. It's just making that system better.
All of it
because
is lightly feature creep. All of it can be explained as feature creep if you want to go out of your way to try and
It's
explain it.
perception.
Anything beyond
It's
freelancer with nicer graphics is feature creep at this fucking point.
technically, yes. The thing that you have to consider is we will get some feature creep right now because they're creating the engine, and there are going to be things that they're like, okay, we have to build this into the engine now, because if we don't,
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's the supporting modules. That's what I was talking
Yeah.
about earlier. So
Yeah,
they're going
yeah.
to be these supporting things which they need, which they discover that they need, and
Someone
that's
asked-
fine. But I don't want too many of them. Like,
Yeah,
there's
no,
just
I
stuff
agree.
That they'll be able to go like, oh, we do want this. Oh, this would be good, and this would be cool to have as well. And you want them to make like, well, that's great. Add the way the 80,000 different ways of hacking and breaching a door. Add that after release. Just have a
Yeah.
couple now. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, someone asked is FIPE feature creeping. It's not
Expand.
because FIPE was part of Wingman's Hangar in 2013. It was
Yeah,
already
They actually
Yeah.
showed it off.
oh, they
Yeah.
yeah, and that was a lot of years ago.
It wasn't
Void-
faceware, but it
Yeah.
was what faceware
it was.
is just
It's
a way
in one
of
of the
doing
stretch
what they
goals,
ever
isn't
want.
it?
Yeah.
I think it was
is.
one of the
And-
later stretch goals where they said they were
Yeah.
going to be able to use your camera to capture
and
the
it,
face.
and for the most part, that wasn't really developed by CIG. That wasn't really
No.
using up their resources. And again, that's one of those situations
still
they are
lightly
currently.
feature creep.
Yeah. And again, though, it's one of those situations where they know they had partnered with Faceware. They know they were bringing this tech in, and currently they are working on trying to finalize the character models. So it makes sense to kind of do that at the same time because they could finalize the character models, then bring in female characters, and then Faceware comes in and it's fucked up.
Go Ryan.
All I'm trying to say is
Yeah.
that feature creep isn't a dirty word, and there's
No.
various scales of feature creep.
Yeah.
Some of which are good, some of which are bad, and it's up to the
Yeah.
community to keep CIG and Foundry 42 on course. If they do something a bit like no survival mechanics, no.
Yeah.
That's what
Rather
they're
than
doing.
rather
Very
than
much my
feature
opinion.
creep, it's more like feature prioritizing. Or
But it is
feature
it's-
priority.
It is a lot of it is just perception. Some people
Yeah.
will see it as feature creep, and some won't, depending on when you backed, the way you think
Yeah.
about the game, and
Oh.
it's
A lot of people I've heard
Personal.
claim that like any kind of planetary exploration is feature creep. Because I've heard this, they've heard this so many times that I'm pretty sure it's like the same person with like 14 different accounts who says this, which is, which
Well, I
is,
think we all know who that
which
is.
Which is, I backed for a space game, not a planetary survival game. I want to fly spaceships. And
I think that's a valid. I think that's a valid thing, though. Like I'm okay with people going. I'm an original backer. I wanted a expanded Eve or a Elite Dangerous experience in space at high fidelity, but I'm just into the space aspect of it. I don't want planets. I don't want this huge sprawling planetary systems and stuff. I understand that, and if people have backed in at Kickstarter and come back now and see that, I can understand them going, "Oh, this isn't really the same game I backed."
Yeah, but it's not like
But
it's not like the
potentially-
space doesn't. It's not like space doesn't exist. And
Yeah,
you know,
that option.
yeah, just stay in space. Potentially, there's enough content in space alone to
and they
entertain
did talk
someone to
in
stay there.
I think 2014 or 2015 years ago. They did talk at length about having. Oh man, I hear myself like 3 times. And they talked about having like the ability to go down to planets and hunt animals and do science on planets and stuff. Like that has been planned.
yeah, no, there's landing
Hero
zones,
special
land-
locations. Yeah.
Yeah, landing zones and like being on planets has been part of the game since the launch. It just hasn't been as extensive as it is now.
Yeah.
So that's why to a degree I'm kind of like, why are you complaining? Yeah,
Well, I was talking about a very specific subset of people.
Yeah.
People that
Yeah.
backed the original Kickstarter and people that come back now, which is going to be a very few amount of gamers. Because I'm assuming they would have checked on, is Star Citizen released yet?
yeah.
It took me like a year and a half to check up on it after I backed. Like, I backed in the Kickstarter and just forgot about it.
That actually brings up a good
Yeah.
point. I personally believe that we have something like 80 to 90% of the community that will play Star Citizen hasn't picked up the game since they bought it. And they probably
Yep.
bought it 3 years ago and just were like, whatever, I'll check back up on it when I hear something in the news. You know, like,
Yeah.
for instance, I use the example of, like, I've backed 2 or 3 Kickstarters that I haven't even paid attention to. For instance,
Ashes of Creation.
yeah, I
I'm
backed
sticking
that.
my Kickstarter account.
Yeah, it's still there. Let's see what else. I've got Kingdom Come Deliverance, which I haven't checked out at all ever since I Kickstarted.
That's released, I think.
It's either released or it's releasing in like January or something like that. It's releasing here short. Like, oh shit, man! I remember I backed that game a while ago. But
Yeah,
now-
it's beta at the
Pillars
moment.
of Eternity
Beta access.
Kickstarter too.
I remember I backed an album on Indiegogo by a band, Winter Sun, and then all of a sudden got an email from Indiegogo saying, "Hey, backer, this album has been released. Click here to download." Wait, what? Wait, I did what?
yeah. So
How much did I spend? I must have been drunk.
So
Yeah.
people like us are crazy following the game as close as we are at the stage it is.
Oh,
And
definitely.
It's important to keep that in perspective whenever someone's like raging or whenever because I get this often, where I'll be like, I can't believe they're doing something like that, either as a myself or as some watching a stream, and I have to remind folks that you are very small compared to the number of people who will be playing. By playing now, you're going to be incredibly advantaged against anybody else, because you'll be surprised how many people just will suck ass in the game. The worst player in the game right now is going to be a god tier compared to the newbies that show up in day one. Like, it will be
You
bad.
have time, Eris. You
I'm
have time.
counting
Just
on
pick
it.
it up in 3.0
Yeah.
and you'll be fine.
Yep.
Not happening.
Why not?
Because he wants to wait till release.
I like the game. I will pick it up and try it in 3.0. But at the end of the day, there are so many other games that are done now, and I'm gonna save Star Citizen for when it's done. I spend inordinate amounts of my time already sifting through all the news and making sure everything gets done and doing other things. I don't have time to play it
could be
too.
dead by the time Star Citizen releases, dude. You need to play it when you can.
I fully expect to be dead before it releases.
Eris, you should be the only
Here's a
person
hypothetical-
ever to never play the game, ever, but report it and follow it from the very beginning.
Here's an interesting question, though, considering how large the Star Citizen backer base is, and adding the mortality statistics to it. How many people do you think have already died before actually seeing the game come to
Considering the
fruition?
demographics
few.
of the early
A couple
backers,
have actually.
A number.
Yeah.
most of the early
Most of them.
backers were between 30 and 50 years old. Like,
Yeah.
they were
So
older.
so they're
gamers.
all dead now of
They're
old
all
age.
dead.
But
Every one of them
Yep.
have died. Yes.
I just have to say, NVIDIA 101 says, Eris, have you bought a ship yet? I've spent $4,000
On
on
the
ships.
game, but
So,
So no, just merchandise.
no, just
Yeah.
Just
There
merch.
is
He has-
one.
You got all the t-shirts.
150 hoodies, 75 shirts.
All these mouse pads everywhere.
Loads of
and I don't wear a
Argos.
single one of them because I'm always wearing a bow tie.
Exactly.
See, that's my problem. I've actually purchased Star Citizen merchandise. I've bought, like, Twitch shirts, for the different streamers. I've done it from the official website. I even have the suit required shirt that Noob made, but I can't wear them because I wear this all the fucking time. The problems of being classy. You can't wear.
I have one thing of Star Citizen merchandise. It's the old Connie model when the Connie model went on sale because they were coming out with the new Connie model. That's all I have.
Oh shit! I think they're not going to do an update of that one yet, are they? That's
fucking
feature
hope
creeping if they suddenly start doing it
That's
now.
feature creep.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the
There
only
we go.
person- I recently bought a Squadron 42 hat, and I'm assuming that that's just going to come when Squadron 42 does at this point. 'Cause their shipping is horrendous.
Oh,
I'm still waiting for my freelancer box set with the game on a USB and the engineering manual and the map. So I'm waiting
I
for
got
my
the map.
physical.
That
Oh,
hat's
your
going to
map,
be more
your map is
well-traveled
gonna
than
be
I am.
shit.
Where's their merchandise made?
China.
China, yeah.
I need to
China.
double check.
Well, I
it's
think it
ethically
depends on
sourced.
where you get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't even checked.
Or it depends
That's
on
normally something I
what
would.
item.
Oh god, that's going to be the next story on the fucking Reddit.
Oh shit!
It's broken here.
Yeah, sweatshop.
Look, here's 4-year-old Chinese children making your collector's edition Star Citizen box.
Oh, he's a pilot. He's a pilot too. Oh, these Chinese kids.
That one is passed out and he's now on the assembly line and about to die because he's been overworked to death. Good job.
Let's
CIA.
not joke. I wouldn't joke about that. 'Cause
Still a better pilot than Eris.
And they're all wearing Star Kitten T-shirts. Too.
Oh
It's all right,
god.
guys. They've all got
Full
lifetime insurance.
Average to the age of 4.
By the way, this is completely not true, and if
No.
anyone takes us out of context, you suck.
Shit.
You know they will.
Do not
They
clip
will.
any of
You
that.
know they will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so let's move on to Eris. Eris, what did you like? What did you not like? And was there anything that surprised you this week?
surprised me. I bought a house.
Yay!
Wow.
Yay!
It's also very scary. I didn't like buying a house.
You mean your bank bought a house?
No, yeah.
He's not wrong.
So you're the one with the $45,000 refund. I see.
Actually,
I
my
kid,
house
I
is
kid.
buying another house. So, no. What I liked this week, and Paul, we talked about this a fair bit on the station, but all the other space news. Star Citizen hitting one bug left is great, but I've actually been more interested in everything that was coming out of SpaceX this week. This was a fantastic week for actual real life space exploration.
What can I just say? Elon Musk is fucking crazy.
Yeah. No, I think that's the universal response to seeing any Elon Musk presentation is Elon Musk is fucking insane.
Fucking insane.
You need that kind of insanity
Yeah.
to pioneer and push forward.
He's either an amazing humanitarian and human, or he's going to turn out to be the world's first real Bond villain.
Super
No,
villain.
what he is.
Yeah.
No, you have to look at it this way, and we were talking about this on the station earlier, is he's setting up, everything he is doing is to colonize Mars.
Yep.
Tesla is to make electric cars for Mars. Solar City is to create electrical power for those cars on Mars with solar power. The Boring Company is for underground roads on Mars. SpaceX is to get to Mars. There's one more.
Elon Musk,
He's gonna put
the
internet
original
on
Martian.
Mars.
Right.
Internet, yeah.
Starlink is for internet on Mars. What he's doing is he is setting himself as the first messer on Mars.
Ooh.
It's true.
He is going to be
He
the
even
emperor of
shares
fucking Mars.
Two letters.
Yeah.
M and S, yeah.
It's an odd thing though, because it's
Confirmed.
like this sort of stuff wouldn't happen without without
Yeah.
his like personal
Yeah.
push forwards. It's not a government doing it.
No,
it's him
it's-
saying, "I want to advance
PayPal
humanity."
is
That's the only way it
PayPal
was
is the
ever gonna
downfall of democracy. It's going to bring about the United Earth Empire, and it's everybody who uses PayPal is to blame.
Thank you.
But
Kickstarter.
that's-
Well, didn't someone try to get a Death Star through Kickstarter and raise
Yeah.
a few 100,000?
But Lord, that's the exact thing that surprises me. We do need him, because if it wasn't for him doing this, it wouldn't happen. And I hate to bring this back to Star Citizen, because why do we want to talk about that? But if it wasn't for Chris sitting down and being fucking crazy out of his head and saying we can do this thing that no one else thinks is possible, we wouldn't be getting Star Citizen. I know.
Well,
I
Chris
A
didn't
toast
start
to
that
the
way,
to the
though.
to the
True.
insane visionaries.
Chris has stepped up the scope of the game as he believed more and more was possible based on
Yes.
funding. So it wasn't sort of like he didn't start saying, "Let's do all this shit that's never been done before." He wanted to revive something. He wanted to revive.
Are you
the
a
stuff with
feature
new
creep
technology.
apologist all of a sudden?
Chill.
Hashtag ad. Yeah.
Anyway, I really want to recommend everyone who hasn't seen it go and look into the Elon Musk announcements from this week, because the stuff that he's doing for Mars and his plan to essentially colonize Mars and create across the world travel in under 50 minutes and like all these kinds of things that are genuinely.
And within our lifetimes too.
Yeah, that's the scary thing is, and I was saying this earlier, but I never thought that I would be alive to see this kind of exploration again. I missed the moon landing. We missed, finding other we missed all these different things, and because of Musk, we're gonna get to watch the first people stand on Mars.
So have anyone seen the movie Europa Report?
Mm-hmm.
No. Yes.
Which was like a reality TV thing to send people to
found
Europa.
footage.
Yeah. Not found footage, but reality TV footage. Everything was broadcast to Earth and released on live. So I think that we actually may get to see some of that when it comes to Mars and Elon and SpaceX, which would be fantastic.
We live in quite interesting times. Like, so the scientists genuinely believe.
Is that a curse in Chinese?
Yeah.
May you live in interesting
Scientists genuinely
times.
believe, or some scientists, that there's going to be 1,000-year-old people in our lifetimes. Like that we'll have the medical technology, we'll have be able to upload people's consciousness to computers and loads of weird shit like
possible.
that. Genuinely, and it's possible because a lot of stuff is possible. But like, and then you hear about like Mars and stuff, and it just seems odd because it's sci-fi to us.
You got to look out for the belters, though. They're quite ruthless.
And the gushers.
People often forget sometimes that technology and major leaps forward can be very exponential. And people look at the past history of NASA and that kind of time frame of advancements, and it's going to get faster and faster and faster. All technology does.
That was kind of the Cold War.
There was a time when it was NASA that was doing the advancements, and unfortunately, NASA doesn't get the money anymore. So now you do kind of require.
It will be private investors. Yeah,
it's the dark ages of space exploration right now, or at least it was up until SpaceX
Musk.
Out.
It was until Musk. It is all because of Musk.
Yep.
Praise be unto him.
Privatize it like that, it allows competition, it allows the influx of new ideas. Yeah.
Someone else would have done it eventually if Musk didn't. It would just take
there's also the guy from Amazon.
Bezos. But
Bezos.
The thing is that what Musk is doing, which is unique, is he's basically coming in and throwing over an apple cart, saying either get innovating or I'll innovate for you. And it's so like Tesla is a success. And it's going to be a success in the long run. I think everyone kind of can see that.
You and I could talk about Tesla for ages because I am a huge petrol head.
Huge fan of everything.
Here's one of the things that I
hate Tesla.
This is one of the most interesting things for me was where is it? Apparently Larry Page, who's Google's CEO, was giving a TED talk, and basically what he has said was. I would rather give when I die. I would rather give all of my money. I'd rather give all of my Musk.
Take it.
He basically said, I'd rather give all of my money to Musk than to charity because I think that Musk will do more for humanity than any charity would.
That's amazing. Yeah.
That is
That's the co-founder of Google who said
that's insane.
Fuck those starving kids. I want to go to Mars.
But all right, real talk though. In that sense, figuring out how to grow food on Mars, which is goddamn impossible with irradiated soil. If we could do that.
Matt Damon did it.
Hydroponics.
Yeah, but if we could do it on an affordable scale, a scale that we can actually like build it on Mars with next to nothing, or ship it to Mars,
then we could do it.
Take a lot of cows.
We could do it anywhere.
Helmets.
We could do it.
But if we can do it on Mars, we can do it here.
We can do it anywhere.
Yeah.
We can do it in freaking Antarctica. We can do it in drought-stricken areas.
We don't have a shortage of food on the planet. We have a shortage of distribution of that food.
Yes.
Or an overabundance of assholes in charge.
But if you could, take 100,
now. Let's move on. But yeah.
If you could take 150 tons with one of Musk's space shuttles and move it around the planet in 50 minutes, 50 minutes around the globe, 150 tons.
That's amazing.
You start to wonder, like you start to solve those.
It's going to be a communist utopia
but you don't
on Mars,
actually realize how much a train can move. 150 tons is nothing.
Yeah, but trains can't go across
50
the
minutes.
water. in 50 minutes.
They can't, but container ships can.
In 50 minutes?
50 minutes.
No,
Not
not in
50
15 minutes.
Yeah, with rocket
Okay, the
propelled.
time is. But if you want to
It's all about
talk
the time.
logistics,
Well, you still have to utilize
if
all
you
of them.
want to talk logistics, you could, of all the container ships, you could
Sorry.
take one of those ships and use it for food distribution. The entire economy of the world will not notice, but every hungry person will thank you.
Yeah. It's just the things that he could do are amazing, and that's what surprised me and made me happy this week.
It's
Sorry.
So, moving on, was there anything bad that you noticed this week?
I'm going to skip this question because I don't think I can answer it without going into...
Rant.
Did PewDiePie do something else?
Rip my ad revenue. God damn it. It's like Pew has to open his mouth right when I'm my views are going up on YouTube. I'm like, oh, I can actually earn some ad revenue. No, I can't because I said fuck twice. You know.
Fuck.
Yeah. Thank
Fucking
you.
fuck.
Fuck,
All
fuck,
right,
fuck,
so
fuck.
Ryan, Mac, SMB. Same questions. What was there anything that you liked this week? Was there anything that you disliked this week? And was there anything that surprised you?
I liked the burn down. I disliked the burn down. And nothing at the moment from CIG tends to surprise me, which is a bit shameful. But it's no the CIG ATV I no longer tend to look forward to other than the burn down. The sections we see are interesting and I like it, but they don't include enough footage that I need. I'm the kind of guy that will read a book for the pictures, not for the fucking storyline. So
You're the kind of guy that doesn't read a book, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Comics are
he's
the best I can ever
He's
see.
the kind of guy that waits for it to come out on like the movie adaptation.
The
and
movie,
writes,
yeah.
and then writes the
Oh,
whole
yeah,
fucking
I've
essay
seen
on that movie. You know.
Can
But
someone
no,
just clip Eris's face doing that, please? In the future, of what that looks like.
I actually like the ATV, and I guess we'll go more into detail about the kind of user what was it, usables.
User interaction system.
Yeah. So, or not, it's not user interaction system. It was like I have to
The
look at the
erection
actual
system.
title. I have to look through the actual title because I've been drinking too much now. But
Or as they should be known, boozables.
boozables.
Yes.
CIG, please.
Hey, touch things.
All right. So
Inappropriately.
next we have the inappropriate man himself, Darsh.
Oh.
What did you like? What did you not like? And was there anything that surprised you?
What I liked was that we have reached the go no go state for Evocati, which came as a pleasant surprise, even though we've been waiting for so long. What I didn't like is the X1.
Dun dun dun.
Leave that
Because
pause for a little longer.
Yes. I just don't like the design, and especially the bottom half of it that has glass in front of your legs. Like, what?
But so you can see the inner workings, isn't it?
No,
So you can
it's,
see-
No,
it's
it's your
legs.
legs.
It's
Literally
the
your
legs.
Oh, so they know where to. Oh.
Yeah.
There's a
I mean,
glass over
hello,
the
pirate. I present to you my shins.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just-
in defense of the X1, the glass, the plastic stuff right there is not meant to protect your legs against laser bullets. It's designed to
Wind.
protect you against wind and rocks.
Yes,
It's a-
but
it's a
they
laser
could have
bullet,
done it with
like a
something that
plastic
hides
glass.
it, actually, instead of presenting it. I mean, you could be wearing a skirt, shave your legs, or maybe even some pantyhose, and then have that on display while you're driving along with your X1.
That sounds
I mean,
like a challenge.
Hey, get your heels
Skirt,
in your
high
fishnets
heels.
on.
But in,
Yep.
in defense
Yep.
of the X1, it's not designed as it's like the Buccaneer of speeders. Where it's
But
like-
Origin.
it's by origin. It's by
X1.
origin. It's supposed to be perfect in
No.
every possible way.
What I mean by the Buccaneer is that if you look at the combat ships right now, we have three main viable combat ships: the Hornet,
Yeah,
the,
it's an
the
addition.
Saber,
Say-
and the
Saber.
Buccaneer.
The Sabre.
What you mean is we
I
have
like the
one
Sabre.
viable combat ship currently, which is the Super Hornet.
Well, the Super Hornet is the
Fuck
best,
Oh,
but the other two ships.
Currently in 2.6.3,
Yeah.
at high level, it's
I've-
just a Super Hornet.
I've killed lots of Super Hornets at high levels. Yeah, it's just a Super Hornet. But like
With an
overall,
Aurora, no less.
Overall, those three generally are the three most viable options.
Yeah,
if you're gonna go
they
for
they
something.
will be, definitely.
And the Buccaneer, its role is being less armored but more nimble and as heavily armored as the rest of them. I think that's what the X1 steps in, is that it's not going to be necessarily a.
I'm not questioning
It's
its
going to be
purpose.
super
I'm
weak
just
sauce,
I'm just
but it's
I'm
fast.
just questioning the legs on display. That's all I'm questioning.
I was
I mean,
surprised by
that's
the
all.
design.
The design's.
Cat.
Well,
the whole thing of the X1 is there to rival the Nox. There's no other reason at the moment
Yeah.
because they know that they're going to have racing on 3. Well, not in 3. Yeah, in
Listen,
3.0 they have racetracks.
It's
eventually.
there. It's there
so
just
they
for
need
CIG.
something.
It's there for CIG to say that human beings can't be outdone by no fucking aliens when it comes to fucking speed. So they made some sort of weird looking, like, glue gun dispenser that actually is actually a
It dispenses
It looks
glue
like a
gun.
shoe to me. It looks like
Yeah.
a
I gotta
trendy
say-
shoe.
That's
I
not
don't-
blue though.
What surprised me, what I don't like about the X1, and I kind of thought it was a little bit deceptive, is we only had side shots of it until the concept sale, and
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
actually it kind of had this very sleek, skinny look like a Nox, but in actuality, and they still don't do a top down, but there's some angled shots. It's actually more like an arrowhead shape. It has like a split
it
tail.
kind of reminded
that
me
V's
of
out.
the
Yeah,
Flight of the Navigator.
a little bit.
That was a
yeah.
great film.
It does
But
look
I-
like a.
there
It
was
looks like an
note in
old
it.
school Star Trek phaser.
Nice.
Yeah.
These modern Origin ones that they're bringing out now, they tend to look better if they're flying in either direction, like the 600. I feel like the 600,
You're
the
good.
X1, if they flew in the opposite direction forwards, they would look so cool, so much cooler.
I kind of.
There's your top-down shot, Grit. If you look in the chat.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, it does look really weird. It has like a
It's-
little
it's
split
kinda weird.
nose. Oh, that's
Yeah.
his tail. It's his tail. Right?
Yeah, you don't
No, it's
like
not
it.
as arrowheady
I
as I thought. Yeah.
It is a little bit though. You kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's-
have an ox, and I'm happy.
I don't know. I kind of I found that a little deceptive in the images they put out, though, because it didn't really give you a sense of what it actually looks like.
It's in
You
concept.
got a
it might
profile
change a bit.
shot.
It's
That's
still
true.
in concept.
That is
not
true.
Yeah,
made
yeah, they don't want to
The
specify
Nox-
it too much, do they?
The Nox had been finished pretty much when it
That's
went on
very
concept sale.
Has
Good
the X1 gotten the HoloViewer yet?
Yes.
Is that where the model for that image comes from?
That,
Do we-
that comes from Reddit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
Well,
What's
let me
that
hear it.
on Reddit? Hello, cat.
I assume it's
Put
from the
the
HoloViewer.
cat down.
No.
Do
no.
we reckon that the X1
Release
is
the
going to be
pussy.
like? Do we think the X1 is going to be like the Nox, where it's kind of ready already, but not ready for 3.0, or do you think it'll slip it into 3.0 at the rate?
Nothing else will be slipped into 3.0.
Yeah, they
What
locked.
if I slip my penis into 3.0?
No, the only thing that's a maybe is the
EP.
Saber Raven.
Yes.
The only thing that's a maybe because
Okay.
it has assets in game.
But
I honestly
let's
didn't
think about this. The Saber Raven. Okay, so we'll talk about the Saber Raven a little bit. First off, we know that the Saber Raven has been was found on a board at CIG during one of the videos. So it was a leak through that. And there's a rumor
And then
mill
in the
going
code.
around that the Intel release is going to be linked with the Saber Raven release as well. I've heard a couple people came to me and told me that that was going to be linked as well.
Huh?
That there, that it was going to be with the Intel.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah,
Or
as
maybe if
part
you
of
buy
a
an Octane, you
promotional.
get the Saber Raven.
Uh,
could
like
be-
the AMD, like
Yeah.
the AMD Omega.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good shout. I
And-
like the cut of your jib.
And
Mm-hmm.
we know that's going. We also know that the Saber Raven's possibly going to be coming out in CitizenCon at some point. That's about it. So someone already in chat already talked about it. I was like, I don't know if I want to talk about it because it's like really, really speculative if that's the case or not. But someone's already in chat talked
Kind
about
of makes
it.
sense.
The tagline for the show is that we don't know shit.
Yes,
Paul,
that
it's
is
okay.
which
We
is
got
which
this.
is Board gave us the tagline, which is we don't know shit. So we don't know shit. Don't take this for literal. But of course, at the same
Yeah,
time, go run to the forums and confirm it. Because that's how I like to keep my relationship with CIG.
Speaking of CitizenCon, Board, you coming, man?
I'm planning on coming.
Are you looking at his anus?
I'm planning on coming, Judge.
Get
He's
that
about
Elmsford
ready.
shot.
Stand by.
Open up. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Jesus.
Hey man, it isn't a captain's table unless everyone either goes "Oh my god" or laughs at the same time out of pure ridiculousness.
Paul, you need a teabagging gif.
Just drop it down.
Yeah, just blip.
Teabagging gift, please. Just
Would that be the sound then? Blip.
Blip.
Blip. I'm planning on going, but it's literally I won't know until like a week before whether I can.
Okay.
Oh.
Because I have to care for my brother and do other random shit. So
Ah, yes, yeah.
I don't know.
Unfortunately, CIG have this hatred of, putting CitizenCon anywhere near civilized and decent society, i.e. not in Canada. So,
Well, Turbulent
Maybe the
has...
studio.
Well, the way I see it, CitizenCon follows the studios, and provided Turbulent still is a
Contractor.
vital part of CIG,
I mean,
maybe we'll get a CitizenCon in Canada at one point.
Turbulent has been an extremely vital part of CIG for the entirety of Star Citizen's.
It's not an official studio though.
I
I'll tell you
know.
which is an official studio that hasn't got any attention. The Derby studio. Which is
Yes.
pretty close to my house.
Fuck Darby. Fuck Darby. Fuck the UK. Fucking
Wow.
Turbulent.
Wow.
You know who's gotten
Wow,
I'm going to
Canadian.
contact your head of state, Eris. Contracts.
Queen's
No,
gonna
no,
show
but
up at your door and
here's the
smack
thing.
you.
CIG, they've gone to other things as well, right? They'll go to PAXs. They've been to PAX Australia. They've been to other places. They
Is
have
there a
never
PAX
been.
Canada?
There's not a PAX Canada,
No.
but there is Comic-Con. There's a there's
there
a
a-
bunch of things.
Isn't there a big convention in Montreal that
There's a big convention in Montreal. There's a big convention in Toronto, and there are big conventions in Vancouver. CIG have not been to anything in Canada
I would like
in
them to have
5
an
years.
official,
All right, to
an
be
official
fair-
presence in Canada and Australia
Yeah,
for, for
yes.
a convention would be
Yeah.
a good shout.
To
I
be
think.
fair,
Yeah.
to be fair, they also haven't done an official convention in the United States for 2 years. So since CitizenCon, that was the only last time they did.
You
one.
know they're going to have.
But the
them.
way it should generally roll is that if
Yeah.
it's CitizenCon that we're specifically talking about, then it should just be LA, UK, Frankfurt, Austin.
Yeah.
LA, UK,
Yeah.
and that should just
Studio.
be for CitizenCon. Yes, everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, things like Gamescom we
For,
can't move.
for
because that's
Eris'
just
sake,
wherever it is.
let's pray that CIG just ends up buying out
Buying Turbulent.
Turbulent.
Yeah. Well, I just want them to come up here for something because
Yeah.
Canada has a shit ton of gamers. If you look, there are a hell of a lot of Canadians that follow Star Citizen already. I feel like we do, both us and the Australians. I feel like we get second shrift here, and I mean Australia's at least far away. There's no excuse for Canada.
I think what
You
we'll
could
see.
drive up here.
I honestly think what I think CIG has backed off on the conventions because they were expensive and they wanted to focus mostly on their
Development.
So I think once we reach a beta stage, I think it's becomes not only does it become important, I think it important. I think it
Yeah.
becomes vital that they have to show up
Yeah.
to these conventions. Even sending someone like Tyler or Jared to
Which
to
Tyler?
small, any of them,
any Tyler.
any Tyler, but sending like
I'll
two or
rename myself to Tyler if I get to be part of CIG.
sending one or two community members out to a convention, even at a small booth or as a double booth with something like Logitech or something like that, would help promote the game and attention, as well as because the other thing that does, those often serve as breeding grounds for community content creators. So if someone big comes from outside of the community, is looking for Star Citizen, they go to a convention, they hear Star Citizens at
Yeah.
the convention, they'll go hunt them down, and that helps promote. So it's a marketing opportunity. So I think to a degree they'll do it, but I think it's going to happen in a year or two. Because I too was kind of pissed because the year I was able to go to PAX South, they stopped going to PAX South.
Yeah.
I wanted to flip tables. I was like,
That was actually the same for me with PAX East. Like I went to PAX East because PAX East is in Boston. I can get there in 6 hours driving. That's reasonable for me. Oh,
Hey, same for CitizenCon for me. Yay!
they don't go anymore. Yeah.
all
Life
right.
is shit, isn't it?
So
Come to Canada, CIG.
Grit, same question as you.
Hey.
What did you like? Did you finish yours, Josh?
I'm done. I'm
Okay.
done. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no surprise. There were no surprises, unfortunately.
Grit, like, dislike, surprises.
Pretty much the same
Mary
as
fuck
everybody
kill,
else.
basically.
Yeah. I was happy and liked the. I actually liked the ATV. I liked the segment. It was a little wordy, but the main dev segment of ATV was really interesting.
I hate it when they use words on ATV. Oh, what on my gesture and
It was a
dance.
little. It was the syntax was a little funny, but it was really like that. Really happy that we're down to one bug for the Evocati. The only thing, nothing really surprised me, but yeah.
Oh my god, thanks board, but I'm just imagining Ben doing an interpretive dance for the entire ATV.
Nice.
And that's why I'm
Like a
around.
sign interpreter, except it's a dance.
No, that he's doing his dance, you know. I mean,
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be great.
The Ben dance.
Ben dance.
The
yes,
only
for the
thing-
entire thing.
Pure speculation on my part. The only thing I have any kind of surprise, maybe question about, was actually the newsletter sneak peek image, which was a hallway in Grimhex, which technically wouldn't be a sneak peek. We have Grimhex. Obviously updated lighting, but I did find it interesting, and again, speculation, that actually in the focal center of that image was a Vanguard Hyperforce or Hyper Vanguard Force arcade mod.
Arcade game.
And I'm wondering if maybe with render to texture that they're actually coming in functional.
Possibly.
That would be cool.
Oh,
We
that would
also
be amazing.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, one of the things that they've talked about for a long time is we know that it's going to take somewhere around like half an hour to cross the
Exactly.
system. And they have for the longest time talked about the various things that you can do in ships. In the Idris, there's a basketball court, or like there's pool, and they've said that we'll have card games and stuff. Yeah,
We've seen those machines though in
Yeah, the machines
is it
have been there,
Javelin
but they
mess hall
yeah.
or
yeah.
You
But
can
there's
see
that
the
image-
machines in Echo 11. They,
Yeah.
they got tarpaulins over it, but they're gaming machines over there. Yeah.
If you look at the sneak peek, though, it's an in-game capture, and there is something about the way the title screen for Vanguard Force is rendering on that it really
Yeah.
does look like it's rendered to texture.
Well,
I also like the politics on the side as well.
and they
I'm
do
not
like
into
to they do like to
politics.
sneak some little extra goodies
Wait,
into every
hang on,
major
though.
patch. So
Hang on though. Look at that
pure
image.
speculation. Yeah.
Was Hyper Vanguard Force ever 2-player?
No, it's one player.
Because there's 2 fucking
Oh,
controllers on
yeah.
that.
And with
2-player
System
in-game
2.0
Hyper
and-
Vanguard Force confirmed.
Evocati confirmed. Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Hey,
Pure
man, the other-
speculation,
I'm
but
just-
it would be awesome.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna say the kind of genre that it's spoofing did used to have famous for like 2 to 4 players in those arcade consoles. I
Yep.
love those things,
There
like
are
1942 and such. Yeah.
Joystick.
There are 2
So-
joysticks on that console, and there's 1 bug left. And if you add those
Oh my
2
God.
numbers,
Oh my
it's 3.
3.
I'm done.
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
I'm done.
So, another couple of interesting things about that picture. I believe it's in
And
the
the
new
postcards.
electronics shop in Grimhex that's coming in 3.0.
with Ruto.
Also,
Yep.
it's and the picture is actually called Grimhex Ruto 01.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see
Is that Ruto? Is that supposed to be Ruto though?
No, so
No,
I
that's
believe
leaving
Ruto.
Ruto.
That's just the
believe Ruto
is
a
explorer.
It's a hologram. That you
Okay,
find
so here's
in
the
electronics
here's the
shop.
thing though.
Oh.
In those pictures, you see Messer, who is the actual
Yeah, the
hate
politics
this
guy.
he's a politician.
And
I hate this
it's-
guy and don't
it's-
believe him. He lies. And Ruto is based off of the same person that Messer's based off of, which is I forget his name. He's the
All twin.
Yeah, Ortwin. It's based off
yeah,
of
the,
Ortwin.
the
Yeah,
Ortwin.
yeah.
Ortwin Freyrmuth.
So I'm guessing. I'm
Ortwin.
wondering if this hero giver that we're getting, we haven't seen before, is actually just a hologram of Messer. That's some like,
As a bit of a
hacker-
piss take.
Yeah, as
Oh,
a
Yeah.
that actually
like
might be
an
what Ruto
anonymous
is.
mask,
Yeah.
kind of.
He's a
Yeah.
hologram of Messer that Ruto is using. That makes a lot more sense.
Ah,
That
that's
is
and
cool.
Bruno
amazing.
is like his handle. He's like a hacker or whatever, you know.
Could it be an acronym for something?
Yeah, it
Ruto,
could be
or-
too as well.
Route.
The
tour.
the other thing I liked in this picture that made me know that it wasn't touched up much is that, but on the right of his leg, you can see one of the error holding balls.
Yeah.
That's,
The lighting does look amazing though in that, by the way.
it
The
does.
colored lighting and everything. It's the
yeah.
new lighting system.
The weird part
Red
about the
Bull,
sneak peek is,
texture.
if you look at that sneak,
Confirms in game.
if you look at that the sneak peek, sometimes they're like art pieces. That looks like it's actually
That's a
in-game
screenshot.
screenshot.
Yeah, just in-game
You can
screenshot.
see the
Yeah, you
Alliance
can see the
thing.
low resolution texture of the posters and everything.
And the low resolution texture of the actual armor there, it is low res, a lot of it.
Yeah, it's
Now,
super low
is
res.
that-
It's like on low details. Yeah.
I find those posters interesting because I thought Messer was gone for a long time.
Grimhex has been around for
Why
a
are there-
long time, dude.
Isn't it
Yeah.
Costigan
Oh, yeah.
rather than the Messer?
I guess, but like no one.
Yeah.
Why
It's
would
Costigan.
they?
And it's not. Yeah, it's Imperator Costigan at the moment now.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's
It's
Costigan
not.
rather than
Okay,
Messer.
good.
But
Yeah, I see the name
But
now.
it's like-
But
It's
obviously,
like-
the Messer.
I was
the
like,
Messer regime
if there are
would be-
Messer posters there, they just tear those down, right? Like,
No, they graffiti.
They're
no, because
just
it's
messing with
rebellion.
us.
It's
It could be
rebellion. Messer.
Rudo is using him as basically like the Guy Fawkes mask for
Yeah.
Anonymous.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's his.
Sergeant mask.
Yeah. But that's really
Fuck off.
clever.
Why
By,
does-
by the way,
why
by the way,
does-
guys,
yeah.
we've just
That's all
made.
the comment.
We're talking about lore here, which is what I love the lore in Star Citizen, and there's lots of lore in Star Citizen good. But I also feel like there's a lot of things they haven't filled in. So I feel like we just gave CIG exactly who Ruto is because before they're just like, meh, we'll just use Ordwin again.
What
'cause
we
he's kinda
said.
cool. And then what we say, they're like, cool, we're stealing that. We're gonna take that now and put that in.
We just
there.
delayed
Yeah.
3.0 another 6 months because now they got to change Rudo.
all I want, I only want one thing in the world for the
That's
rest
a
of my
lie.
life, and that is for CIG to somewhere in the game incorporate the Garbage Woman. And if they do that, I will die happily.
For those
We
who
didn't
don't know,
actually
the
touch
Garbage
upon
Woman
that
is the
in the
psychopath.
podcast.
We didn't.
yesterday,
We
even though-
didn't yesterday.
No, we didn't. We have to now. Tell us all about the garbage woman.
You don't want to know about the Garbage Woman. She's fucked up.
I do want to know about the garbage woman.
The Garbage Woman shows up in a reclaimer and knocks out your ship, and then reclaims it while you're inside.
Ooh.
And
Inside the garbage woman or inside the reclaimer?
both.
Because that would
Inside-
be impressive. Where are you going?
I got really interested when they unleashed the Reclaimer, right? The Reclaimer is one of my favorite ships, and I really wondered what happens if you try to reclaim a ship that has people in it.
It's going to be some sort of weird vor porn, but with reclaimers.
I mean, maybe yes, but it's a question. What happens?
The answer is that's Eris's kink. That's why he's bringing it up.
Don't,
All right.
Hey, don't
I'm not kink shaming you. I'm just
better not.
No, he's
I
only
think-
king exposing.
I think you'll be able to do that. It's just if you're in a area that's got communications and someone can see you doing it, you'll become a criminal. If
Yeah.
you're not,
Oh, yeah.
then you've nommed up some delicious ships.
Yeah, I think it's the idea of like a reclaimer pilot sitting there and not scanning, like not monitoring for like wreck signals, like signals of wreck, like an explorer
Like
finds a
life
wreck,
forms.
and monitoring for distress beacons, and saying, "Oh, that's a distress. I'll take that call. That's close." And they get there before any aid people get there, and you've got a ship that has someone in it, and the ship is derelict, like the ship is broken down, and they just swoop in and start taking the ship apart piece by piece and start
Fucking Rosses.
reaching in there with the claw, and you grab the cockpit and just start squeezing in, and the person has comms, and they're sitting there calling you over the comms saying, "No, don't, I'll give you whatever you want. Do you want money? Do you want my ships? What do you want?" And you just say,
My
Really
love.
weird thing. You really.
I
thought
would,
about
I
that,
would,
Eris.
I
He
would
made an
jump.
entire
for that.
story series.
I
out
would
of this.
jump on the claw, and I would wait for it to drag me into the ship. Then I'd jump through and destroy everyone on the ship.
I think the
Quantum
idea is
drive.
that you pay them
Yeah.
after they repair you more than they'd get for the reclaiming of your ship.
"Yeah."
This is how
But-
the economy works.
But I mean, she herself was disturbed and had lost children and was trying to. She got therapy through talking to the people that she was killing.
Was this garbage woman in a dream, or is it an actual?
It's a story
It's
he
not
wrote.
really
life?
He actually
I,
wrote.
I
it.
wrote.
Yeah.
I wrote a.
Oh, yeah, I
it's
know
like
that.
a 4 or 5. It's a 4 or 5 segment story of Garbage Woman and her things, killing
Her
people.
Or
Her
things.
thing.
If she's blind and deaf, then fair enough. She may have accidentally gnawed up some ships. And
I never
Black-
actually finished her saga. I still really
You need to.
Good thing
She
is
called
you
the
got,
mole
you got
woman
time.
if she was blind and deaf, though, flying around in a reclaimer.
The mole woman, yeah, the mole garbage woman.
You're actually not the only one who wrote fan fiction for Star Citizen. I actually did on the old forums, and I kind of stopped right when it got good because I ran out of ideas.
Funnily enough, the only reason I'm here is actually because of Garbage Woman. I posted Garbage
Fanfiction
Woman.
saved your life.
Fanfiction genuinely changed who I am as a person. No, straight up. 3 years ago, like 4 years ago, I didn't care about Star Citizen. I had left it, ignored it. 3 years ago, one of my friends was like, "You should check out the subreddit," and I started following the subreddit and keeping track of what was. I know, cancer, whatever. At one point, I started writing fiction because I was bored at work. I posted one of them. Nakara was like, "Hey, that was a great story. Do you want to start a website and start writing fan fiction for my
Thought about
website?"
doing a dirty one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually a
That's what I write.
subsidiary of Pornhub.
I am part of Relay because
the inspiration.
of Garbage Woman, okay? Stop. I'm gonna go get more alcohol.
Do it.
In-lore interspecies erotica.
We're not making fun of Eris.
Yeah, Garbage Woman and Reclaimer's Claw.
Goddamn.
Making love with a banner was like an extreme negotiation.
Hot nights on Selin.
Oh.
Yeah, First Contact,
Oh my
the
God.
XXX story.
Good lord.
I'm thinking of all of the terrible porn titles you could use. The First Jump.
Birds and turtles.
Oh
my god.
He's
What,
ready.
what the fuck do you have there?
Garbage Woman is a founding
Green.
member of the Meowcenaries. Yes. For those of you guys who don't know, I actually I came up with an idea for to reclaim the Star Kitten as a meme for the community, which is to have to have all of the best pilots in the game do nothing but have Star Kitten skins for their
Nice.
ships, so that and call themselves the Meowcenaries. So that when people show up in Star Kittens, it's like, shit, it's the Meowcenaries, run! Because the idea of being afraid of a pink...
All with like code names from cats.
yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Like
Or-
it's
or
super
SWAT cats.
cutesy and ridiculous, so that people are pissing themselves over like it's Mr. Fuzzles! Mr. Fuzzles is here! Run!
My favorite color is pink.
Get whiskers off my tail.
Yeah.
Little Bob, help me, little Bob. That'd be great. Okay,
let
no, I
me
like
drink
this
the blue
idea.
one
now.
first.
I'm trying to spread it around there. Alrighty, so with that, I think we're going to move into the questions and answers because it's been about an hour.
What, already?
Doing this like going around the circle and talking about what you like, what you didn't like, and what your and of course my mic went out.
There he goes again.
There goes my mic. Yeah.
The most important
Good
moment.
story.
Doing the what you like, you don't like, and what your
And
You're
there he goes
surprised.
again.
Oh my
Are you
god.
serious?
And the same
Yeah.
word every time too.
Hey. Do you have a normal headset?
Here's what
Do
you
you
like.
have a normal microphone?
Oh, no.
Paul, have you done a podcast before?
No. Can you guys hear me still?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Board
This
games
is,
are-
this is almost as bad as earlier today. People have been asking me for like 6 weeks why my image on the relay station looks like it's 140p. 140p. Apparently, in Skype, you can click on your own image and drag up in the top right to increase the size so that I wouldn't look 140p.
Yep.
Oh,
That was
I
glorious.
did wonder why you were like into
oh my god.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll talk a little bit about the ATV before we go into the questions, but I want to preface the questions before we get started, which is if you guys have any questions, feel free to submit them, !, questions, or ! question in chat. That'll lead you to a form. You fill that out, you submit it, you can put your name and your question in there, and we'll read it live here on the air. The other thing is there are such things as stupid questions. If it's too stupid, I'm not reading it. If it's stupid enough, I'm going to give it to Darj, and he's going to give you like a full-on like poetic, Homeric epic response in some way to perform.
And it's going to be very insulting.
Yes. What was I going to say? Oh, also, we're not CIG devs, except for Eris. He always gets confused for CIG dev, literally. Literally, by the mainstream media. I'm waiting for Board. I'm sure it's happened to Board, yet he just hasn't found it yet. Someone pulling Board's videos out for Board as a source.
We have been called CIG devs a number of times, and it's actually generally been the times when CIG have hated it the most. It's any time Nakara puts out a funding document and they're like, CIG dev Nakara says that this is how Star Citizen's funding is, and they're like,
Technically, due to open development, you can refer to any backer that has done anything on the issue council as a developer.
I thought Board was the Derby studio.
Oh. Those facial animations will be worse
That's why
than
they
Mass
don't show
Effect.
it.
Don't use that for nothing.
But before that, I do want to talk a little bit about the usables, is what the title was, usables. Other than the fact that every time he said cup, I didn't hear cup, I heard something naughty.
Cunt.
No. I was waiting for someone to say something say what I actually thought, and Dar says it, and I breaks Board. 404 gamer, right there.
You're not getting any money for this.
I've given up. I've given up monetizing YouTube. I've given up monetizing YouTube. It's like,
oh my god,
like if
You have to go through the full 3 hours and just bleep every single.
And still some jackass who's doing the monetization is going to look at it and see, oh, he bleeped it out. It's bad. I'm going to unmonetize him. He said the word.
The only words.
He said the word poopy. I'm going to demonetize him because he said poopy. Fuck you, YouTube. I'm sorry.
Eris.
Board. Can you do a video that's...
You should be so lucky that you missed what just happened.
what? Oh, did I miss something good?
Board, can you do a troll video that's like a 5-minute long Star Citizen video that's all bleeped out except the only words you can hear are immersion and fidelity?
that's a good joke.
Immersion.
Fucking shitty goddamn fucking
Fidelity.
immersion is breaking my fucking fidelity. God fucking damn it, what the fuck's wrong with this piece of shit?
No, Eris, you don't. It was with bleeps.
Yeah, everything else is bleeped out.
All you would hear is beep, immersion and fidelity of beep for like 2 minutes.
1942.
It has to be individual beeps though. Just
Oh,
like
it would sound like a fucking Morse code. Yeah.
yeah. The best would be if you actually fit a message in there in the Morse code.
And all it is repeating, and the Morse code is just a repeating loop of immersion and fidelity.
Immersion.
All right. So, but in terms of the usables, there's some really good images that they use, or the videos they showed off were very interesting, only because they were so gloriously memeable. Between the dude who is stalking the other one and takes a seat, like, hey buddy, how's it going? And as he's sitting down, you see his hand slide over the dude who's sitting's thigh. Straight up, he does a thigh slide and then sits down right next to him. And the other guy just gets up.
Tell me more.
Have you seen how Will Riker sits on a chair in Star Trek
Yes.
Next Generation?
Do you know why though?
He's got a bad back.
Yeah.
But if you watch him, after you
back
see
problem.
him sit on chairs, you go, why don't I sit on chairs like that? That looks like a much more sensible way of getting on a chair, like he's a horse rider. But
You know why
when you
I don't
watch
sit
these
on
other
chairs
people-
like that? Because
Why?
I'm not
Why?
tall enough to do it without falling.
Okay, that's a fair point. He is a very tall man.
Yes.
No,
Fine.
also the chairs that he did that on had very, very short back rests things.
He just the way he mounts them, and I wish that some of the NPCs did that. Just,
He
I'd
mounts
love
those
the
chairs like
Riker
a
mount.
true equestrian.
Clip opportunity there.
Yeah, mounting chairs like a like Will Riker.
An
It's just
equestrian.
called Deanna Troya chair.
Oh, I'm not going to
some Betazoid humor there.
I'm not taking it. All right, so
That's what she said.
Someone's taking it.
the other great memeable GIF is where this guy in like a full white suit with a real smug look on his face is leaning against a railing, and he's looking at something as it walks by, and he does the full neck break, like he's watching this person like. And then he turns to look at them, and his neck is still turning, and he's like,
Check out the assumption on that
At the
one.
last one, he turns and goes, okay, fine. And he looks straight. But it's like he is totally checking out booty. Like, that man is staring at a nice, fine piece of ass the entire way.
Well, I promise you he's not checking out any female models, mate.
Nope. There ain't no female models in the game.
That is good. It is good for them to include that because you know what? I'm gonna drink
Yes, that's a good idea.
instead of speaking.
I'm
point,
opening
Alex.
another
That's
bottle of wine,
bloody
as
good
it's clearly apparent.
Alcohol.
Anywho, the one thing I took away from
The
that...
solution and the cause and solution to probably all of life's problems.
It is a solution.
Yes.
No, it's not. It's a solvent.
No, thank you, Solvin. Not bad.
There you go.
Anywho, the
Usables,
one thing,
takeaway.
the usables takeaway that I got is that they're going to.
Oh my God! There's
Darsh,
no
shut
God,
up!
smells delicious.
Shut up, Darsh!
Wine.
Oh, I will mute you. I've done it before. Takeaway of the whole of usables is that right now the animation's going to be a little rough, even in 3.0 going forward of the NPCs. Yep. But going in the near future, they've kind of charted out a way to smooth everything out. But it's going to take a lot of fucking work because they're going to add a lot of fucking animations, and pretty much everything in game has to be usable.
Star Citizens need some more work.
I have a question.
Oh God.
It's a genuine like. There's a lot of work that has to go into smoothing out those animations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that they should give some of those animations before they smooth them as a like, or do you think they should hold things back until everything is smooth as it can possibly be, or should they just be like, here's the animations we have now, we're working on better ones, but for now, here we go.
I think that is what they're doing.
They can't do much in the way of placeholders anymore. They can smooth out animations, but they have to give the ones that they would smooth out. You see what I mean? They can't go, this is a placeholder animation, because otherwise they'd give us the placeholder models for the women and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's foundation building now. It's not, they don't want to smash anything apart again with a hammer.
Eventually, instead of the sudden clip that these guys will get when they lean against a railing, they'll when they're walking up to the railing and start leaning, they'll walk up to the railing and just lean naturally. But for now, they're going to walk up to the railing, clip a little bit, and
Clip
lean.
right through.
Yeah.
So you you can see it triggering, can't you, at the moment, and it does look a bit rough, but they will eventually get it smooth. I think they should release it as is if that certain patch is ready for them. So I guess 3.0.
Yeah.
I don't see the need to, but it's all down to what Chris thinks and if he feels like he needs it smoothing or what. But I hope to see more animations added in the future because when they're all sat at the table, I'm sure they'll add more. But there was 3 people sat like this.
Yeah.
2 people sat like this, and it's like they do have a variation, which is good. Not everyone's going to be doing the same thing like in other games, but they need more. And I know that's not important or necessary.
That's actually one of the things we talked about, wasn't it? That hang on, let me get the actual thing here. I know where it is. Their problem is that if they want to do it as well as possible, but it will require, if they want to make everything smooth and everything completely different, it's going to require thousands.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's not
thousands.
something they need to work on now. It's something they need to add over time. Yeah.
At least they have the in-studio mocap pickup studio.
Yes.
Yes. No.
That
true,
helped. The only caveat I think there is with that is it wouldn't be a delay for the MMO or any kind of PTU patches, but wasn't that kind of the reason that was given for the vertical slice of Squadron 42 last year being canceled or 2 years ago?
Animations, was it?
Yeah.
It was basically that the subsumption looked super janky because the animations weren't in. So I could see that possibly being a delay
with
for
my
Squadron.
interview with Aaron that I had a while ago, he basically was implied that the vertical slice had evolved into a whole new thing. But and they didn't say exactly when they wanted to show that vertical slice, but it was implied that it would be shown at some point, and
This
also
year.
that Squadron 42 would go into the schedule report when it was closer to advertising. And I think they're thinking about the advertising much more now.
I actually had an interview with Eric Kyron Davis that never made it to air because because Jake Acapella's fucking hard drive died and it all burned.
Way to go, Jake.
Because Jake sucks.
Did you know
Everyone go blame Jake. No, Jake's awesome. It really sucked that it died. We're trying to set up another one. But in that interview, Eric was literally like, I'm looking to my right here, and beside me on this wall is the Squadron 42 schedule.
Yep.
So they have the schedule for it. It's all there. I don't think they want to show it to us until after 3.0 is out because of stuff, but like it's there.
Reasons.
I was actually having a conversation with somebody offline the other day that we were speculating that maybe they may morph what they've been doing with the burn down report into the squadron thing publicly anyways, where it's broken down more into, instead of like, critical moderate blockers, it's more or less bug fixing, polish, video, cinematics, that kind of thing, where it'll just be like a progress bar.
That makes a little bit more sense, but
Yeah. Because since they don't want to give away any kind of details,
Well,
I feel like it'll be something more vague like that.
You won't see any issues.
There's a lot of things that they can include without giving away spoilers. Animation issues in Chapter 9.
yeah.
There's so
Chapter
much they can
4.
do without
Yeah,
giving
like,
away.
they can't... The problem is... I mean, if you look at what they've been giving us, they've been giving us basically screenshots directly from Jira.
Mhm.
And they might have to modify those, right? They won't be able to just take a screenshot from Jira, because Jira is going to say problems with animation in the death of Mark Hamill's character, right?
Yeah.
And that, okay, maybe we don't want to give that out to the community, right?
Yeah.
So it will take them a lot more work to do a Squadron 42 schedule than it does to do the 3.0 schedule, because right now they can just take screenshots of Jira and
It's
says,
just because fucking spoilers, man.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know where the Star Citizen story is going to go once they go with like the open organic development of what's happening, but they do know where Squadron 42 is supposed to go, splinter off and end. I don't know if it's going to have several endings just because it has a continuation. At least the endings aren't going to be as extreme as Vandal win, UE win.
it's going to have probably one main ending, because there are at
Divergent
least
paths.
Canon meaning
at
canon,
least but there is at least right now 2 sequels to Squadron 42, plus so there's Squadron 42 episode 1, episode 2 and 3, then there's like 3 standalone sequels planned or something. Like there's a lot planned.
So what they're planning,
a lot
a lot
planned.
of what they're planning is things like, for instance, they've talked about possibly doing a Euro Truck Simulator style thing, single player. They've talked about doing a privateer
Like a
style
Han Solo one, and
Yeah.
maybe playing as an alien as
Yeah.
well.
So basically recreating Elite Dangerous, but in a better game engine.
Yeah. Ouch.
There was an interview. I don't remember who did it. Board, maybe it was you, with Aaron Roberts a while back. Somebody asked him about. Well, yeah, it was somebody had asked him, or maybe it was during an event. It was, does CIG plan to have any other IPs? And his answer was essentially, at least the way I kind of read it, was the way they've built this game and the engine and the mechanics is that essentially you literally could write it into lore. You could have a planet in a system that gets added in that's controlled by some corporation that has a battle royale arena that's huge on it, and then you have a PUBG mode, but it's basically on a planet in the universe.
The way
they can put all these in.
Keep in mind, the way they've written the lore of Star Citizen, Star Marine, what we play right now, Arena Commander and Star Marine, aren't actually the game. Those are video games
exactly.
inside Star Citizen.
And that as well, yes. So they can
Chris
put
has
any
said
kind of
of
type
events
of game
that happen.
into it. Yeah.
Chris has said that he's got plans for Star Citizen for the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that he wants to make.
Yep.
Right?
No,
like
yeah.
Star Citizen,
He's making his game.
Yeah.
Yes, this
Yeah.
is the game that Chris has always wanted to make, and that's why we've given so much money, because we liked his previous games.
Yeah.
Or
We like Chris.
I'm personally giving him that much money. I'm going to raise him.
What I
Guys.
found interesting about that though is that they essentially can, within the lore, within this universe, within this game, any kind of popular IP product that's out there, pretty much finagle it into the universe or
Well,
into
that's why
EA.
modding is so
or-
important. Like,
Yeah.
as soon as we have those modding tools for
Yeah.
the community, because the
Yeah.
CIG has been
So you can appeal to any style of gamer,
Yeah.
basically.
and it can be made, and there will be people that make it. You'll have PUBG there pretty quick.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And a billion
Yeah.
different
I
games.
want PUBG.
Which is great. Without
Oh,
having to
yeah,
actually have
law.
a secondary IP,
Yeah.
you can do all of that.
We'll
in
have
this
we'll have
universe.
like EA games like Smugglers Run stuff, like where
Yeah.
you have to like we'll have a lot of those like little games. They're treating
They-
it shows
they've
that there's a
talked
lot
about-
of it shows that they have a lot of Blizzard devs, and that a lot of the
Well,
ways
even
they're talking about mods for Star Citizen are things like being able to do more than just reskin the game, but other things. So
And
Keep
going
in
back,
mind, one of the
even
things
the
that's-
arcade boxes, you could have easy little indie-made 8-bit games put in there as an
Hyper
arcade
Vanguard
box.
Force.
Yeah,
people
exactly.
have already made it.
Keep in mind, some of the things that are still planned for Star Citizen that they've still said they want to do is, like, when they release the game, they're going to eventually release the modding tools and stuff. And with that is going to come the ability to host our own servers. The last we've heard from that is still that is the plan. We won't be able to have the same kind of, universe simulation.
Yeah, it won't affect the main sim.
Yeah.
But you'll be able to have your own servers, and people will be able to create, like, the Millennium Falcon in
Yep.
Star Citizen engine. Like, people will be able to create whatever they want in the engine. 'Cause that's
don't-
one of the great things that happened with Freelancer.
Even if it's
I don't-
limited
I
to a
don't
planet
think-
and moons or something, it's still
I-
huge space.
I don't think that you'll be able to introduce your own 3D models into the game just because of how complex the entire
No, I disagree.
They've said-
Not into the game proper, but into a private server.
Into a private server, they've
Yeah,
said.
it's
Yeah.
not gonna. If any mods are made for the main PU, they'll have to be screened and make sure that they're law friendly. They don't affect or
Yeah.
give anyone the upper hand. But this private service, you should be able to do pretty much what you like.
Yeah.
But it won't affect anything to do with the main persistent universe that everyone else
Guys-
plays.
But that is
Guys,
one of the key things.
Can I just say, this bottle of wine, I googled it. It sells for 150 euros.
What?
way to go,
I was
idiot.
when you
I'm
first
sure that one doesn't.
Yeah.
when you first
And
had
you
that
should have drunk
reaction when
that
you were
for-
uncorking. I
yeah.
was wondering. Yeah, it's like, was that the special reserve from the wine cellar that you weren't supposed
It's
to have?
Chateau Chauvelet Bordeaux from 2011, and oh my god,
You better enjoy the hell out of it.
I could have sold this and bought so much beer.
Then you wouldn't
This
be
is
drunk
like-
now.
Not after 80
Okay,
shots, though.
you should seal that up. Fucking cap it. You're drunk enough already. Cap that.
I've already had 2 glasses.
I'm
I mean,
drinking
I
a
can't
cutlass
cap it.
right now.
I can't cap it. The evidence is there. It's been opened. It's spoiled.
All right.
Well,
All
then
right.
you can only
So
drink it.
we're
Better
going
make
to-
this a memorable night.
Sorry,
We're
Paul.
going to move on from random thoughts of how Darge fucked
Sorry.
up and didn't sell his 150
He's just sat,
50 euro
he's
wine.
sitting there sniffing it for the past 20 minutes.
It
He's not even
smells
taking a
so.
sip.
It smells of fucking chocolate.
Uh,
I'm not making this up. It smells of chocolate,
All right,
and
so-
it's so good.
so
Do you know
the
what's
first-
cheaper and smells of chocolate?
I thought you were
chocolate.
full of fruit and berries.
Chocolate.
Yes.
So Gildus Atter asks, question for the bartender: why is sake served at hot? There are 2 ways you can serve sake: chilled or hot. Those are the only 2 ways. And the reason why you
Filtered and
serve,
unfiltered.
the reason why you yeah, I guess you could do that. The reason why you do hot versus cold is that hot actually brings out a lot more of the flavors, whereas cold is it's a very different taste. So if you like something that's very fruity, something that's more like a fruity wine, then you'd go serve it hot. If you want something that's more like a traditional white wine, you serve it cold. Go ahead, Eris.
That's actually one of the things you're supposed to do with beers. To tell if a beer is decent or not, you don't serve it at like fridge temperature.
temp.
You serve it closer to room temperature because then you actually get to taste the beer. If you're hiding it all in frozenness, in cold, it's numbing your tongue. You're not tasting the alcohol as well. That's what you do with cheap alcohols. If you want to actually enjoy the alcohol that you're tasting because you're buying good alcohol, you do not serve it chilled. You serve it.
Yeah,
I
real
wouldn't
ales
say-
are
listen,
sort of-
not
Listen,
no.
listen, Eris,
Yeah,
Eris,
sorry.
Eris.
Pale ale
Yeah.
is about 10 degrees. A
Let me-
stout 15 degrees. A porter maybe 18.
Let me give you the American response to that. Fuck you. I'm having cold beer. Go to fucking hell.
Then you can have a fucking Bud Light.
Exactly. That's the reason why Bud Light is so fucking popular in America.
Fucking
Because
Coors.
it's so cold
Fucking
you can't
Coors Light has a
taste.
fucking
Oh,
map
shit.
that tells you it's fucking cold. Fuck off!
All right.
Is he okay?
See, this is
No,
the
that's-
errors that I was missing
This is once.
from yesterday's podcast.
It happens every podcast here. Eris loses his mind.
It's because he had hockey after the podcast and he wasn't allowed to drink, which is why I missed the errors that I loved
You did.
on yesterday's
I
podcast.
I hurt myself on Thursday's hockey, and then I was really scared to play hockey Friday, so I didn't drink and I didn't do anything, and I played and I was fine, and now I have a house and I have alcohol, and I would really, really love it if someone gave me something to yell about. Because I've had nothing so far.
Well, you had Bud Light.
Mortgage rates.
Oh my! Actually, no. I'm getting a pretty damn good mortgage rate. You know what I could yell about?
Let's
How
not.
fucking expensive a house
Let's
is.
not-
Oh my fucking
I apologize.
Let's not. God damn it. We triggered the Eris. So next question comes to all of us from Arctic Games, and so we'll start with Grit and move around reverse.
Oh god.
Question for you all: would you like to? Oh no, sorry. For all, what's your take on the Force being used for exploring reconnaissance?
The Force.
The what?
Force?
Is in
The
Star
X1
Wars.
Force.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When there's no cargo scanners on it.
Oh.
Well, we don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
Bless you.
I mean, given the size and nature of it all comes down to balance eventually. Because is it more practical to use the fuel to launch your Connie and look around a local area, or just zip around real quick in your little go-go bike? Yeah, that's a tough one, really. We just don't know enough. So.
Darsh.
I'm with him. We don't know enough.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's
Q&A is needed.
it tackles so many mechanics of the game that are just not in there yet that we have absolutely no idea how it is going to turn out. So, I mean, it's theory crafting to the nth degree that we can do if we're drunk enough, but I'm not drunk enough yet, and I'm not getting drunk enough on this fucking expensive wine. So please move on to the next person.
Mac. Do it. You just said.
I think if we can think of any real-life vehicles that are similarly sized that are used in that same scenario, then we can have a better understanding until the Q&A comes out, which should reveal a lot more information. But I don't have a clue. Does anybody know of any vehicles that are sort of single-manned, reconnaissance, lightweight?
So I'm thinking
Drones.
when it refers to
Drones
reconnaissance and
are
stuff.
definitely not single-manned.
No, but
no
you
man.
have to.
Let's
you
not
have
get
to
into
consider-
that. Ford, go ahead. Ford, go ahead.
So think about environmental hazards and things that you can do with an extra shield slot. Okay, so if you wanted to use it to go and explore a planet with multiple environmental hazards, the 2 shield slots being able to specialize in 2 different types of environmental protection might be really useful. There's a lot of reasons why you'd want that extra shield slot. Now, does it make it better at reconnaissance than the racing variant? Because if you don't want to engage anything, then speed's obviously better. So
True.
It's and then obviously you might want something with a bit more utility. So I'd want a dragonfly to do scouting and reconnaissance on, so that I could pick stuff up and that sort of stuff, and bring another person with me. But
Does the racing variant have a gun or no gun?
No gun.
No,
No. So that's one tiny little
Yeah.
difference.
I'd like
but-
to say that the question of like, let's try and relate it to a real world thing is useless for all Star Citizen ships, because unless you're in America, and let's be straight here, most of the world is not. You don't
Actually,
get
America
away.
is.
What's that?
America's pretty much in America.
I mean, America's in America, but if you're not in America, you're not in America, right?
Yeah, that's also true.
Until you go, and until you're in America, then you're in America. But if you're not,
I mean,
like,
if you go to America,
South.
then you're in
Super
America.
National
But you're not,
is a good
yeah.
thing as well.
step into America.
Yeah, it's
then,
true. I'm sorry. But I mean, how many cars have guns on them?
2.
Yeah.
A mini.
It's there is no like relatable car, and honestly, I find it really strange that they went with Origin on this, and saying that Origin does exploration really weirds me out, because Origin is high class. It's BMW. It's
Well, the
Mercedes.
600i is an exploration ship as well.
I know, and that weirds me the fuck out, because you don't see a fucking like $7 million schooner going and
But
doing
what would be the
exploration.
best
No,
disguise?
you know what you go and explore in? You go and explore in a Jeep or a fucking dirt bike. Or
If you
a
don't want people
fucking-
to think that you're an explorer, what do? You make a luxury yacht that people think you're all just partying, not exploring.
I think that's the issue. It came down to nomenclature. Exploration was a bad choice. It's more like luxury cruiser, or I don't even know how to put, like an RV rather than.
No, it's, you know what it is?
I don't know.
The Origin is for going on a fucking safari.
Yeah, rich guy safari.
It's rich guy fucking safari.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's
you
not
want
for
to shoot
exploration.
some endangered animals?
Yes.
Getting my 600.
Because otherwise, you don't want anything sleek, because guess what? Sleek costs extra money in maintenance and fuel and looking fucking sleek. I want the cheapest fucking thing I can find, because I'm a PhD student that needs a ship so I can go investigate, fucking dead
I think the
Vanduul.
Dragonfly is probably the best choice. It's probably going to be the cheapest. It's
Yeah.
got a lot more utility than the others.
All right.
Yeah,
If
so
you're
I
going
don't
for a bite.
see anything Origin as exploration at all, personally.
So
Hey,
we
what's
have,
happened
we're
to
having.
Dodge?
So we had some technical difficulties with Dodge. Apparently, his Discord died entirely, so he has to.
No,
He's
he
now
just wants to
sipping
go
that
enjoy. He wants to go enjoy his expensive wine and not
Yeah.
waste that on.
He wants to drink it
the
naked
captain's
because that's the
table.
only way to enjoy it properly.
He's lighting
getting rid of the
candles.
evidence.
When he comes back, we'll bring him back in because it's pretty easy with XSplit, because I'm going to shill for XSplit for a bit.
You know what? It wouldn't be easy in OBS.
Yeah.
You know what? Everything is not easy in OBS. So if you want the cheap and uneasy solution, go OBS. I'm shilling for OBS now. They're gonna pay me nothing.
Yeah.
Because they're free as a product. Yeah.
How about you, Board?
I wanna-
What were your thoughts on that?
What? Didn't I give my thoughts?
Okay. If you
I
could
think
give
you
your
did.
thoughts with everybody. Go ahead. We'll move on to the next
I gave them
question.
out of turn, because that's the way I roll, mother trucker.
I just want to see. I want to
Board
see
is
a
important,
little.
and he will talk when he wants to. That's what happens.
I want to see a little asymmetrical bike with a sidecar kind of thing.
Yeah, that would be yeah.
Yeah.
That'd
Little
be-
little fold out
Will we-
sidecar.
Wheeled bike
You know
fan.
what I
do
think
want
is
one.
one of the biggest detriments to Star Citizen is actually the ability, like when they decided to, I think there's only a few ships that they actually did this on, but they gave the citizens the choice. The Orion citizens chose not to have the asymmetrical pod that. Fuck, what was it? On the Orion, it
They'll
was the
still come, though.
driller
They'll
pod,
still
the
make
driller
them.
thing on the side.
Everything is very elongated and
The
cylindrical.
Herald people chose not to have an asymmetrical Herald.
A giant ass radio dish on only one side. Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's
but
super tropey and super cliche, but
it
Millennium
looks-
Falcon, I would love to see something that's disc or round or
Yeah,
just.
I
It can
I
still
would
be
like
symmetrical,
to
but just a different shape than a tube. Pretty much everything is a tube.
Other than a space
see
penis.
my biggest problem is that it's a lot harder for them to do that now
It is.
because they never had an asymmetrical, plan up to this point.
Caterpillar.
Now they have atmospheric flight, and you're not going to see as many asymmetrical shifts because asymmetrical shifts, let's be honest, don't really work in atmospheric flight. I wanted the Herald to be asymmetrical.
I want a flying saucer.
Yeah.
There's
I
no
want
reason for
something fun.
ships not to go in. Like certain ships, I suppose if they're big enough, can be orbited in orbit. Hang on, I didn't think this through.
Orbital orbiting orbits.
They don't need to land. So I guess if they do make some ships that are asymmetrical, like working ships that don't have to worry about
like the forgotten fucking support carrier or escort carrier,
The Pegasus.
the Pegasus. Which we
Oh
haven't
yeah,
heard of forever.
yeah.
You know.
But like the Orion doesn't look very
Pegasus
fucking.
is a myth.
The Orion can't land, can it?
No.
It can't land on a planet. And that looks ridiculous, as if it is like I like it. Don't get me wrong, but if it was going to try and go into atmosphere, it would just be a mess. So they don't all need to be asymmetrical, or I mean, it's symmetrical, looking like a flying penis. They can.
As the tractor module
Yeah.
on the other side, so it's technically not asymmetrical, but
No,
sort
but it'll
of is in
definitely fly like
functionality.
shit planet side, won't it? It'll be like.
They could game it a little, yeah.
Alrighty. So, next question comes from Gundam Citizen, who asks, this question's for all. Would you like to put cryogenic freezing sleep and be woken up when Star Citizen released? No, because I have a life.
I don't. What are we talking about?
My life sucks. I'm down for that.
Would you like to be put into cryo sleep and woken up when Star Citizen's released?
Do I have to pay my bills
I mean-
for that entire time?
Can you imagine the wank after you wake up? you know, like how long, if you wait like a few days and then you suddenly have one, and you think, "Oh, that was
Straight
good."
up. Okay, if I am being put in cryosleep, if for some reason cryosleep suddenly exists, I would like to be put in cryosleep until Star Citizen is real life. Not for the year
exactly,
to 2
yeah.
years
Well
that it
said.
takes for Star.
Yep.
Like, fuck off! I'm not gonna wait for Star Citizen. I'm gonna wait for something important. If I've got fucking cryosleep access,
Elon Musk has colonized Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
major
fuck.
event.
I want to play Star Citizen on Mars.
Yes.
Freeze me till that happens.
How retro.
Next question comes from Perry Hope, who asks, Gib 3.0, please? No, not for you. Because you asked Gib.
Tuesday.
Ban list.
Perry Hope then asks, what do you guys think about the last bug? What could it be? What could it be that performance is dropping so sharply at 12 to 15 players? Is that the last bug?
It's
Is that what
actually
they said?
No,
it's
it's not.
actually
No,
a
it's
bug
not.
that causes an extra
It's crashing,
14,000
isn't it?
bugs. But they don't want to solve it because as soon as they solve it, they've got an extra.
I
I'm-
believe it's a bug with the persistent cache and server stability.
Yep.
So
Probably,
it's
yeah.
literally spawning, despawning ships, and every 2 minutes, like,
Yeah.
with more players,
I have one
the server
nu-
was crashing.
I have two numbers for you and a little dot. 2.0. That's what it reminds me
Is
of.
the bug?
No.
Item 2.0.
No, just
When they-
2.0.
2.0, the bug
Oh,
with the
sorry,
ships.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
2.0. when
They
it first
don't
came out.
want to have. Thing is, they are testing this a lot more severely than they tested the previous patch.
Patches, yeah.
2.0 was released as shit. Like, let's be honest, 2.0 was shit.
A bit like Battlefield 4.
Well, I'm wondering, Board, you may have some insights onto this because your technical knowledge is much better than mine. But I kind of think that's what it is because that was their major issue from what they filmed on Thursday for that burn down was the persistence cache issue with the build editor, and the build editor is the Delta patcher. So my only concern with that is if there is, and it was a new issue. Apparently, it hadn't been doing that until the most recent couple of builds. But that could be a serious hang-up in terms of how long it takes to fix
It's
if they
almost
can't
as
track
if
it down.
it blocks the release of the game.
Yes! That's so odd.
I think
Yeah.
all of the blockers have been serious. I mean,
Yeah.
they haven't included at any point in this list a trivial bug, right? Which makes you think, okay, there have to be hundreds of trivial bugs, right?
Well, you
Yes,
could
yes,
essentially have
yes,
two
there.
bugs that cause the same crash effect, but the fix for one of those bugs may be so in depth it takes a week, but the other one might take 2 days.
I
But
think
the end effect might be the same for each of them.
We heard Chris talking about the crashing, where he said it with 2 to 5 people playing, or 5 to 6 people playing, the crashing was happening quite often. Now, when they get more people in, so when it opens up to Evocati and you can get 24 people in, then the crashing is going to be more consistent, and that's what he said is why they're holding it off. But that was, what, the 28th, 27th, something like that?
Yeah.
So that bug could have stayed with the whole process during getting rid of the whole... Oh, no, they got rid of 5. They got rid of them all, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then
Well, part of the problem is they can get rid of all of the bugs that they see, but they're still doing they're still using internal builds, right?
Yeah.
Until they put it out to you, and that is why they have the Evocati. I mean, that is why those avocados do what they do. It's because CIG can't test for everything. And I was actually having this argument with someone like 2 days ago, them saying, what the hell's the difference between an alpha and a demo? Why have demos disappeared and alphas and betas and everything comes out in an alpha? And it's like, look, a demo used to be what was solid in the game. It was a vertical slice of the game that you could try and play, and that happened. It was finished.
This game has gone gold. It's going to take 2 months to get printed at a DVD factory. But
but that happened before there was consistent multiplayer.
Yeah.
With multiplayer, there's so much that you cannot anticipate for. CIG can't anticipate for the latency between servers. They can't anticipate for the 14,000 different CPUs, like computer configurations, right? Mm-hmm. There's everything that they cannot anticipate, and that is why alphas and betas exist, to catch those bugs that they cannot anymore test locally, because guess what? They're not a local company. And even CIG, yes, they've got, divisions across the world, right?
Yeah.
Board heard the same thing I heard. Cunt.
They've got cunts. They've got fucking bitch.
On dedicated business grade secure connections.
But those aren't the kind of connections that. That's not the connection I'm going to be connecting on. Exactly. It's not the connection any of us are going to be connecting on, and it's also not the game client any of us are going to be connecting on, because the game client that they connect on is the game client where they can watch every single thing that happens, which is different from the purely gameplay client that we get. So that is why alphas exist, and that is why they have to go to Evocati, and that is why this entire process is hugely important, and why it takes time.
Yeah, and they probably, on top of that, they have standardized hardware too, probably across studios
and the different configurations.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's interesting to see that they get the Evocati and they get the PT players to play in a different way. So literally they go, well, these people, they're doing all this shit that we never even thought of. They're moving the Big Benny's machine, for example. They're doing this, they're doing that. I love that kind of thing as well, that emergent gameplay, which is then adopted as standard, rather than just like edge cases.
I want to show everyone this beer, but I can't.
Every time
you can't see what it is.
Every time you say that, green my brain goes to Spaceballs and Perrier. That's every time you hold that up. That's all I can think.
I'm sorry.
Alrighty. So the next question comes from Perry Hope, who asks, "What do you think about the rumor that CIG will stop refunding with 3.0?" It's a dumb rumor.
What? It's a rumor.
They're going to be exactly the same way they do refunds at the moment.
CIG aren't going to stop refunding. They are going to refund in cases where it's necessary, because there are cases where people, like, you know what? I'm about to buy a new house. What happens if I lose my job tomorrow? I've got a new house that I've just bought, and I've lost my job. You know what? I would go to CIG. Literally the first people I would go to for help would be CIG, to say, look, everything has now collapsed. Like, my life is gone.
Yeah, I know someone whose family member died, and he also was a backer, and he needed help trying to figure out if he can claim the money back from that, because it's a dead account.
I can speak to this, actually. in all honesty, and I can say this publicly, I never had to sign any kind of NDA, but I've been a backer since 2013, and in the last 4 years, twice. I've never refunded my original $45 package, but I've put in, obviously, a lot more than that. And at one point, I lost my job suddenly and was in a really bad spot, and I contacted CIG, and they refunded me everything but my original package. And a couple of years after that, more recently, my similar situation, my father passed away. And before he passed away, thank you, I left my job and moved states away from where I was living to come home and take care of my family. And a similar situation, the VA was screwing with him. We had a lot of medical bills. It all got taken care of eventually. In both cases, I explained my situation. I didn't want to give up my package. I kept my main package.
Yeah.
And they were gracious enough to work with me. And in both cases, I put all that money back in. I didn't have to, but I did.
And that's the thing about CIG is they've always been. They are human.
Yeah.
Like
If you treat them like humans, they will treat you like a human.
Yeah, if you're going bitching about it all, they're going to be like, well,
It's like
ATV was 2 hours late. I want a refund.
Let me put this. This is just life advice.
Yeah.
Everyone who works retail is like you. They are exactly the same. Anyone who has to deal with customer service, like me, I've worked in customer service before.
They're human beings.
If they say, I'm sorry, I can't do something for you, or they do their best to work with you, and you're still a bitchy little jackass, guess what? You're going to be treated like a bitchy little jackass. Yep. But if you're if you're upfront and honest and say something like, especially with CIG, say something like, well, it doesn't meet my needs, or it's going to places I don't like it to go. You know, they'll do one time saying like, hey, you know, sure, and then they're like, if you go, for, you know, I definitely, they'll do it. They're not. It's not bad.
I should tack that on to what I was saying. Both times that I had to do that, I was in a really bad spot.
Yeah.
But both times I prefaced my email to them with, if you can't do it, fine. I totally get that. If you can, this is my situation. It would really mean a lot. But
it's not as bad as that. But CitizenCon 2015, and this meant a lot to me. But CitizenCon 2015, I was at CitizenCon 2015. I met tons of people. Yeah, I met Board. It was great.
I was drunk.
I was drunk. Oh my god, I was so hungry
goal.
too. Oh, I was so hungry. But I met Chris, and Chris signed my original citizen card, like with my signed name and everything. And that night on the way home, I lost my wallet. I lost my citizen card. I lost all my credit cards. I lost 200 euros. Like it was gone. And the next day, and I posted on Twitter and whatever. The next day, when I went to a studio tour, like one of the first things in that studio tour was Sandy came up to me and was like, "We heard you lost your. Is there anything we can do? Do you need help at all?" Like, they owe me nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
No tears.
And they
Only
wanted
dreams.
to help.
Only dreams.
And they did. They sent me a new signed card, whatever. But it was the immediate reaction of, "Can we help you?"
I think that was a better idea for them to do that, because that buys them a lot of goodwill rather than pointing and laughing at you.
I mean, I would point
funny,
and laugh at me too. But it's my point of, the people you talk to in customer service and CIG are people. They care.
Yeah.
And if you interact with them like a human, they care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They genuinely cared that I had
honest.
lost my wallet in a foreign country, and they were like, "Do you have your passport? Are you good to get home? Like, do you have a place to stay?" I mean, yeah, I was lucky. I had someone with me. I was staying with someone from Relay who had a credit card, and he put everything for me on the credit card because I couldn't do anything the rest of the trip. He paid for everything. But if I had needed to, but like, they would have helped me, and it was really nice.
To bring back to the original topic, go ahead, Board.
Sorry.
Odd that you say that, Eris, actually, because you had a really unfortunate time, but I found like 200 euros on the floor. And...
Fuck you!
Oh, so no. So, is Darge back now? I mean, he's dude. So the internet took it down.
He's not on Discord.
Oh god.
Become an
Yes, he is
ice
in Discord.
planet, and Grit Spitter's got a green thing that's slowly absorbing
What?
it.
So back to the original question.
Ugh.
There is no indication that they're going to stop doing refunds anytime soon.
Yeah.
And the main purpose of that is to just say that there's lots of reasons why they won't, including the fact that it's law in many countries that they operate in that they have to offer refunds. The issue is more, and I think the question needs to stop being asked, not because I'm like, freaking dirty levers, but the question is more, why are we glorifying refund culture? Refunds are they're why are we like, oh yeah, we stuck it to them, I got a refund. It's like
People cling on to the negatives because it's easy and
Yeah.
it makes them.
It
gives them a chance to vent. But
is it not a positive thing that you can get a refund from if you?
Yeah.
I
You know?
am happy every time someone gets a refund because it shows one, guess what? CIG doesn't need your money.
Yeah.
And two, man, you're gonna feel like an idiot later.
Yeah.
they're all going to buy it back, though, aren't
Yeah.
they? You know,
They're gonna buy it back when
Accessible
the game comes
refunds are kind of semi-essential. You
Yeah.
want to know that that's available. You
Yeah.
also want to know that in some cases where you've had your money in for 4 years and you've played several thousand hours of Star Citizen, that maybe you've pledged your money. Maybe you, like,
Yeah.
maybe that's not an appropriate time to then go, I want a refund, unless something horrible's happened in your life and you need the money back, and then
Yeah.
you can request it. And quite often you'll get your money back, even though they don't actually have to give it to you.
I'm not going to list any of them, but I know of many instances where people have had problems and they couldn't deal with it. And they needed CIG to be understanding, and CIG was. And like, I don't know. I've been following too much stuff lately, but I'm honestly, even right now, I'm actually kind of in tears thinking about the fact that they do actually care, and they will help people that need it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm
we
sorry.
need some music on for Eris.
No, hold on. No, I can't do that now. As the Eris, no tears now. Only dreams. No
I'm
tears.
literally
Only
crying.
dreams.
Only wet dreams.
I'm not gonna lie.
The tears can lubricate.
Yes, just keep going, Eris. Don't stop. Don't stop.
Hey,
don't
they
stop.
have to.
I may
Keep
not-
crying.
You don't know that I'm wearing pants. Maybe they are lubricating me. You don't know.
All right. So the next question
You can't see
is
my hands.
a ridiculous question, and I think Brevols did it
Brevols?
intentionally. Brevols did it intentionally, which is, what do you think of DC abandoning the DC cinematic universe? Good.
That was the most evil laugh.
It's probably an inside joke. I don't.
Wait. Does DC have a universe, a cinematic?
Cinematic universe. Yeah.
I don't know what
Like-
it is, and I'm going to go urinate.
Go
Yeah,
do it.
nothing of that.
Next question comes from Gundam Citizen, who asks, we cannot get to Mars until they solve the problem of human eyes being affected in space by zero-G, unless Ares knows if they fix that. What?
I
No,
really like
it's true. Actually, there are a lot of problems with human travel through space. Our bones decay. Our eyes don't really deal well with it.
In
Lots of us.
zero-G over like a year plus, yeah.
Oh, yeah, but that's the thing. It's over a year plus. We could get to Mars, and Mars has not quite the same, but a very similar gravity to Earth. Once you're on Mars, you'd start being okay. The problem is getting the medical facilities to Mars to help you when you land. But that's why SpaceX are planning a ship that is large enough to, like, basically their plan is to land probably 2 or 3 ships that have nothing in them, no people, just
Drone
the
army.
supplies those
Drone
people
army.
need. Yeah, basically a drone army.
Drone army.
And then send people. Those people will start building things, and the first thing they build are landing pods, fuel factories, and medical facilities to start taking care of the people that have now spent, 6
Drilling
months
for
in
water,
space.
2 months.
Recycling stuff.
2 months in space. But I mean, what's the record now for time in space? Like close to a year?
Over a year.
we can get to Mars before we start getting all of those adverse effects.
No, we still get some of them. Like, the 0G on bones
Bones
is
is
a
a
big
serious
thing.
issue.
'Cause,
It's not good.
Every month is like several years in.
However,
Yes.
they have been able to almost nullify it through just constant exercise. You just need
Constant exercise.
Yeah.
And they can deal with it. It won't be good, but if it only takes them 2 months to get to Mars, once they're on Mars itself, the effects aren't as bad because it's close to Earth gravity, right? So it's not, you don't have as much of a problem. There's actually a bigger problem staying on the ISS for a year than there is traveling to Mars, because on the ISS you have no gravity period, and that is where all of the effects happen. They don't happen within 2 months. They happen in 4 to 8.
And the bone density comes back almost instantly the second you're back under
Yes.
under.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it goes back pretty
Yeah.
quickly. You lose a lot. You still you lose some. You'll lose more bone density in space than you will on your entire life, but
Yeah.
it comes back rather quickly once you're under gravity again. So
And Mars is not full Earth gravity. It's like 1/3 or whatever,
It's a third,
but
yeah.
it's still
the question is not can we reverse those effects. The question is, does Mars have enough gravity for that to matter? And
yes,
that's
and we don't know that.
Yeah.
We cannot test that either.
No, that's
until
what-
we go to Mars.
Mhm.
But if you think about it, and it's tough to think about, but when you think about people getting to North America, because guess what? North America wasn't a huge thing like 600 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And Musk has said this.
Building country.
Musk has said this actually, and it's hard to think, but people will die.
Yeah.
This is colonizing the new world.
Mhm.
This is sending ships from Europe to Gritspitter. Are you talking?
Damn it!
Yeah.
I was
I was
gonna say any new frontier of exploration, people will die.
people died in
Yes.
the first planes all the time.
Yep.
People and
Yep, and that's the
railroads
thing.
blew up all the time when they were first invented.
People,
And that's
people
the
will
incredible
die.
sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the incredible sacrifice those explorers make. They take that risk to pave the way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but people will die. But it people have to, and it's callous and it's hard to think of, but people have to. People die
said-
all the time, and
Don't
you
get
know what?
emotional again, Eric.
No,
they
but
said
I'm sorry.
every
I'm always
astronaut
emotional.
accepts a risk every time they get into a launch
Yep.
rocket.
Mhm.
I mean, that's just the fact of it. Yeah.
If somehow I had the intelligence and body build to go to Mars, you know what? I would do it with the risk of dying because it's important enough. So it is that important. It is a new
Alrighty.
frontier. People will die. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Moving on, Nikolai asks, so what's worse for the environment? Figuring out how to make a super fast railroad across the world, or burning
Your own shit.
burning fuel, rocket fuel for all the rich people wanting a fast travel every day? I don't know. It's just not,
What was the first one again?
that's the wrong podcast to ask that kind of question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tesla rockets, that's what we want.
Yeah, Tesla rockets.
It's
Yeah,
people
Tesla.
to fucking just shoot you out into the atmosphere with
You know,
electricity.
what's better is to have a tether, a space tether, so you don't have to use anything but energy
yeah,
to
space
go up
elevators
there.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't the whole thing
We
that they're going to use salt water or something? What
Yeah,
was
but
that?
it still burns. It still burns.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're
But
good.
What
it's
they're
a
gonna
much
do-
smaller CO2 footprint than
What
the
they're trying to
traditional.
do is use salt water and
Just atmosphere.
CO2 in the atmosphere. So take salt water and the CO2 in the atmosphere, combine them and transfer,
and before anyone
morph
loses their
them
shit
into
about
fuel.
if anyone who loses their shit, I used to teach chemistry, so I've heard a lot of
Yeah.
people in the past like, you can't just pull CO2 out of the atmosphere. If we did that, we wouldn't have a CO2 problem. It's like that's literally
You
what they
can.
did. It's literally
Yeah.
what they did in England, in
Just
Victorian
the
England.
volumes are so big.
to light candles, like the gas lamps were powered partially by making methane from pulling CO2 out of the atmosphere.
We can do it.
Yeah, it's old technology. It's not even new technology. It's ancient technology compared to what we have today.
The problem has always been, okay, we can pull CO2 from the air, and then where does it go? We've got nowhere to put it.
Yeah.
Right? The thing with SpaceX is that they're trying to do a thing where they pull it from the air and then use it again in air, but it's a net zero. They're not
close
they're
to
not
it, yeah.
It's a close
I tried
to
that
net
with farts.
zero, which
if
is
you get a can, like a big coffee can, you can fart and capture it.
Yeah.
And then when your
Preserve for
girlfriend
later.
And they bury it, and then it turns into fossil fuel.
yeah,
So now everyone
that-
go
is that
out
like-
and can your farts, and then you'll get free gas.
Is that
That's how
like
works.
individualized fracking? What are you doing with those coffee cans? Fracking!
I am suddenly now backing fracking.
All
fucking
right,
fracking.
moving on. Guns and Glue. How do you feel about how do you feel about the X1 releasing without any form of stats? Wait for the Q&A. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Without any form of stats. It
Concept.
has some stats.
Yeah.
It's a single seater.
It's a space bike. That's
Made by
it.
Origin.
Yeah.
It's
Probably
5.5
zero cargo.
Yeah.
It's 5.5 meters long, 1.5 meters tall, 1.5
And it can
meters
take
wide.
out an Idris. That's been confirmed.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Two of the models have a single size one weapon.
Mhm.
It's got a reasonable amount of stats.
Funny thing, you guys joke. It can take out an Idris, confirmed. Chris Roberts himself said back in, 2014, 2015, long time ago, that an Aurora could take out an Idris. Theoretically.
Chris has
anything-
some mighty weird ideas sometimes, though, doesn't he?
Hey, if
He
you can
just
avoid
hit
every
down
hit.
again.
Yeah. Right.
Anything can take out an Idris.
Well, there was a bug with the
Theoretically.
Gamescom demo, literally until like the day or two before, where if a ship like the Gladius rammed it, it would explode.
Yes.
Exactly.
All right.
I
Did the pistol
actually
take
really-
out installation before?
I really liked that Gamescom demo because they tried it twice and it failed twice because both times the one railgun shot that they did hit critical infrastructure inside and blowed it up immediately. That was beautiful. That was pure Star Citizen cinema like that is what happens with CIG when they try to show things off. Fucking everything breaks, and I love it.
And I will
Maybe
counter
they
with that,
should get some better
CIG
voice
Sherman.
actors, though.
Sherman, all the Aurora has to do is get the pilot on board, and then it can blow up.
Oh.
That's all the Aurora has to do. It just has to deliver the pilot.
I never said that anyone was on an Idris. Okay? If there was an Aurora and an empty Idris, the Aurora could theoretically kill that Idris. That is the point.
Technically, you have a whole squadron of attack ships weaken an Idris, and then a test pilot comes in an Aurora, lands into the bridge. Technically, it's an Aurora killing an Idris.
Intensify forward firepower. Intensify forward firepower. Too late.
Oh,
Oh,
God. Is Matt Sherman watching us? I feel slightly subconscious now. I have transcribed him too many times.
Next question comes from Brimstone666, who asks, I'm wondering after they say maybe playing, a Hull or Explorer Miner kind of guy, do you know if I will be able to create an alt character as a nasty law-breaking pirate? If
Yes.
so, can I keep both characters unconnected from each other? Say Pirate
Yes.
Brimstone blows up a ship and steals a cargo. We'll play.
Well, we
this
all know
user
your name
in
now.
Connection to Brimstone, the law-breaking hauler. I believe that.
Yes.
Brim, you can't give your name out if you're a pirate.
Yeah.
It's the fundamentals of being a pirate.
On the same account, they haven't talked about multiple accounts.
We
in the game
don't
yet.
really know.
Yeah,
but,
we don't know, but more than.
But it would
likely-
make sense.
Yeah.
That's a basic MMO trope.
Well,
Yeah.
they actually
don't
talked
know.
about that being game packages, because if you buy an Aurora, it comes with the game package.
Yeah.
If you buy, say, an Endeavor, it doesn't. It's the game packages. There will be a character tied to every game package, and eventually, and this could be way out of date. Don't quote me on this. It could have changed, but back when they were talking about this, was you could actually buy your own game packages without the ships as well eventually. But it's a game package will be tied to a character, and that character will be its own character. So you could buy 2 Auroras, have 2 game packages, have one end up as a pirate, have one end up as a UEE pilot, completely separate game packages, completely separate accounts. And when they meet, they make love, and it's beautiful.
They make
You
a
get really
little.
confused because they're both on the same account. How
And
could you be both of them? No, it turns out that I'm
It
just
all
the game
depends on
character
the
all
back
along.
end system.
And then it implodes, and that's the end of Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Oh.
You don't expect to be
Well,
able to share items between those characters if you want to keep
Yeah.
one lawful and one not
No,
lawful.
yeah, because
Or you could,
Just-
though. You could
just
always
like-
be like, I'm going to
just
leave
like
this
tr-
here.
just like trying to fund terrorism in
Yeah.
the U.S. or in the world.
As we've all tried.
It's generally not a good idea to do so and then continue to work in a lawful position somewhere in a country that does not support said terrorist actions.
It basically comes down to how they've set up the back end systems for accounts, and that could change coming closer or after release or at release. Because most MMOs, it's a pretty standard trope that you at least have one character. Even in World of Warcraft, I mean, you can have a Horde character and an Alliance character. You can have multiple character slots, but I don't think it's a priority for them to figure that out until it's a necessity.
Beta. That's
Yeah.
probably beta.
More than likely, the simplest solution is the easiest solution. Simply, you have a community moniker, and then you'll have a handle for your characters, and you can name your characters whatever, but it'll go by their handle. So, like right now, I've got the Astropub. If I wanted to make one of my character slots the Berserker 01, as long as it's available, I can make that as a character slot. Just kind of like
I hate to say this. I hate to say this, but I would really like if they would make it that character names do not have to be unique.
No, yeah, just the handle needs to be unique. That's all they can do.
Yeah.
Your handle is unique, but your character name
Can do
does
whatever.
not have
So you
to.
can have 15
You can
Jon
have
Snows.
David. My name's David.
That's
Yeah.
fine, but you'd still have to have
Your
a
name
unique
is Harry
identifier,
Styles.
such as a citizen ID.
Yeah.
Yeah, Citizen
But
ID
then you
is
can
unique,
hide the ID, so it's
Citizen ID,
even 1,345.
but you can have one Eris, but you can have 500
Like I did.
Davids. I would love that.
that's
because
a
I
good
agree.
point,
Yeah.
That's something that doesn't happen in most MMOs. And you join 3 months in, and you're like, well, I'm going to spend 4 days trying to figure out my character name.
Yeah, and it's always like numbers at the end, which kind of ruins it.
I am now, Saber Killer 401X2 because that's the only fucking name left.
Yeah. Oh God,
But
he's going on.
maybe they could do that in conjunction with, for lack of a better title or nomenclature, a title system. Depending on, there could be a David out there who does mining, who's in good with a certain group. So it's you select that title, mining company, whatever, David, and then in some way that it's not the same if you see them, and it could be an optional turn on or off kind of thing.
Definitely a turn on.
That was really
Are
bad.
you listening,
Really
CIG?
bad talk.
Do you hear us? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Enough of that relay shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. Bloated purple, dead on a toilet seat. Asks,
Wow.
will Elon Musk be in Star Citizen? Maybe.
He better be.
As an aftershave.
I'm.
Wait, can I
Hint of
Musk
my-
aftershave.
question? Can I ask a question to everyone?
Sure.
And I'm going to start. I will start with Super Mac Brothers below, and go around. But everyone say one reference that you think needs to be referenced in Star Citizen. Let's start with Musk, as Musk and SpaceX need to be referenced.
Go the other way,
Who's
Harris.
next?
I need time.
Okay.
Go.
Who's bored? Can you? Are you ready for that?
Probably Picard.
Good. Yes,
you've gotta
Picard.
reference Picard.
Yep. Paul.
In terms of references for, I think the number one reference needs to be a Mark Hamill blue hair reference somewhere in there as well.
Some blue
because,
milk.
You know.
Yeah. Great.
Just because I want to be a dick, Polly Shore.
Fuck you.
Biodome.
Biodome.
Super Mac?
It maybe only the Brits will get this, but I think Ron Seal does exactly what it says on the tin.
on the tin,
Would
it
just be
does.
perfect. And if you could paint your ships with that, that would be a nice little, just nothing spacey. Just
I'm going to throw out.
Calzone
I'm
as
going to
well.
throw out
Good
one
point.
slightly reverential and I think they better reference Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, of course.
There's a lot of potential
listen,
in the
there's-
soul system.
What they'll probably do is what Elite Dangerous did, is that they'll take outposts or stations and they'll name them things like Roddenberry
Yes.
Station or Armstrong Station, just because.
Asimov.
Yeah.
You better fucking reference
Yeah.
Asimov.
I mean,
fuck.
Heinlein. There's got to be a Heinlein
Yeah.
reference since the whole damn
There's got Clark-
citizenship
Clark.
idea. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of things in there that they're going to do, like, homages to.
of course.
And I think they already do, don't they?
Yeah.
I can't remember any.
Even what we talked about with the Elon Musk plans for Mars, there could be like a
Musk
memorial
Canyon
to
or
the
whatever.
ancient relic of the first
Mars. No.
SpaceX
They're actually just going to
colony.
rename Mars entirely. Mars is
No,
Musk.
Musk.
months.
It is now Musk.
The Polly Shore thing doesn't need to be a direct reference either. It could be a pirate that's called the Weasel, and it calms you, and it's like, I'm gonna wheeze your juice.
Hell,
Sorry, can you
Paul,
explain how that works again? Sorry, Grit.
No.
hell, Pauly Shore's probably been out of work for a while. I'm sure you can get him to voice act and start.
He's in everything, though. It's annoying.
All right.
Somehow.
Next question. It comes from Guns and Glue, who asks, "Oh goddamn, this is fucking keep them short, people." All right. What do you think will
TLDR.
happen to Turbulent long term, since CIG will need them to keep everything updated and running? You think they'll just be absorbed since they're a small team? No.
No. They may have another department take over the ease of running, because maintaining something isn't like creating something.
No.
So they may have a system that is set up that they create purposely that is easy for CIG devs to maintain.
I can field that one maybe as just any general business practice. They have a contract right now, and it seems, I don't know if it's been specifically said, but it seems pretty evident that it's until Spectrum, all of that is integrated, and then it just depends on their contract. If they want to keep renewing that contract and keep supporting the web development, then they will, and if they don't, they'll just shift that all over to CIG, and CIG will create a new web development division.
Are we talking Turbulent here?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Turbulent have been doing
It's
all
up
of
to them.
CIG's web stuff
Yeah.
since the beginning, literally.
What could happen is once their contract is up and they feel like they've done what they could for the project, CIG could create their own internal team, which I wouldn't doubt would
Yeah.
also be happening, because it's probably cheaper long term to just hire.
And it's what
a
they've
couple
done
of-
for everything else.
Yeah, to hire.
But if it's beneficial to Turbulent to stay longer, if they feel like it would be for exposure, marketing,
it's
whatever,
not
they
a-
might.
It's not a Turbulent issue. It's mostly a contract issue with CIG.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure Turbulence, they're making money. They don't give a shit. They got
Yeah.
a job. So as long as that works for them, so long as CIG's happy, they're happy. But at a certain
Well, this
point,
is
Keep in mind,
you don't need
This
high.
is a springboard for them too. When the Star Citizen launches and Turbulence behind the website, Spectrum, all of this stuff, and their contract ends, who's not going to want them for any kind of contract? I mean,
keep in mind, one of the things that's been going on for the longest time, and this is going to change in 3.0 and beyond, I believe, but up until now, when you log in to Star Citizen, it's not checking CIG servers for your stuff. It's going over and checking Turbulent servers, because all of the website, which means all of your purchases, are all tied to Turbulent. Like, they all go through Turbulent before they go through CIG. So CIG's game is checking Turbulent's
I'm not sure-
archives to make sure that you own the ships that you. It's fucking weird, but it's not all CIG stuff. Like, all of your purchases are on the web, which is Turbulent, not in game. They're not. The two systems talk to each other, but they're not connected yet, and that's one of the things that Spectrum is supposed to start fixing. Is it's supposed to start bringing the two systems together. But up until this point, it's all been it's been checking turbulent stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And we don't know what the terms of their contract is.
no, we have no idea.
No.
It might be till Spectrum's done. It might be till live
Exactly.
release. It could be any number of things.
And my main point is that at some point, more than likely they'll go internal. But if Turbulent, they're paying Turbulent and Turbulent's fine with it, and CIG is fine with paying them the money that they are, then there's no reason not to.
And who knows,
It
at that
depends on
point,
what
if that
Turbulent
happens, employees from Turbulent might come over to CIG
Yeah.
and vice versa.
Well, it'll be an
It's
option.
happening.
If it happens.
Turbulent
it'll be
might
an
have
option.
their own things because I know Turbulent, obviously their own company. They're not just working on Star Citizen. They have other things they're doing, so they may remain with them. But like you say, certain people may jump over, like we've seen with CryEngine. And stuff.
Or maybe, Eris, that's when you get your Canadian CIG studio and they start doing events in Canada.
Hey, I hate to say it, but no, straight up. Until EA started to kill our fucking Death Studios, Canada has some pretty fucking good game dev. Ubisoft is almost entirely Canadian. Guess where the good Mass Effects came from? Canada.
I will say this: Ubisoft has some fantastic developers, and they have some shitty publishers. Because Ubisoft has, itself is kind of a shit company, and their corporate structure sucks. But most of their game devs and their games are actually fairly good.
Are phenomenal.
Except they only last a year because they kill them and
Yeah,
they
but
don't
that
support them.
and that's
Yeah.
and that's a publisher problem. But the devs themselves, they're actually the Ubisoft devs in Montreal are like in the same block as the Turbulent devs and a bunch of other devs. They're all in Montreal.
Grit, you okay?
I
You okay,
visited.
buddy?
He's dying. He's just dying. Don't
He's
worry about
death.
it.
Okay,
He
so
inhaled his
I'm
beer.
down on stream. Yeah.
I inhaled my
Straight
beer.
up, straight up.
1 second.
We've all been there, mate. Don't worry about it.
CIG.
The backer of Star Citizen.
CIG, this is an official job resume right here. If you'd like to start up a game studio in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, I'll help you do that. I will quit my government job and start working for you, and I will run your studio here.
Whew.
Yeah,
I
they
don't.
The new government.
Strangely enough, I do not yet work for Star Citizen, and
It's
Oh,
the,
wait,
the,
that's
the
someone
official, the
Darge?
official
Darge?
transcription
Darge?
studio.
Darge is back,
Hello?
You're alive. I'm back.
which is funny, Darge, because the next question is from Nikolai, who goes,
Loud one.
"Hi, Darge?" Question mark. That's literally the.
Oh my god.
Ow!
Ow. Are you back
What
in
happened to
Zoom
your
yet?
voice?
I've progressed in puberty.
Apparently. Are you getting on Zoom, or are you just barely able to get in the 4G?
I was just looking up the link,
Okay.
and even though it's
That was
Mr.
a
Pop,
powerful
I am
expense.
covered in beer.
What's up?
not letting me
how much
join
longer
the
are we
meeting.
going to be going?
Not that much longer, so long as you don't go on like 15-minute rants, Garrus.
It's just I've only got like another 5 minutes of beer, and then I'm gonna have to go get the sortilege.
Oh God. Okay, it's gonna
I
be
just
longer
lost
than
5 minutes of beer.
Okay, I'm gonna go get the sortilege. I'll be right back.
All right, so let's do this.
Zoom is telling me invalid meeting ID.
Let me get you the link again. The next question comes
Actually,
from
no, I was looking at the wrong link. It was
Okay.
from last week's. It's never mind. I'm
Mega
drunk.
_ online asks, if CIG gave you each the opportunity to add one thing to the game, what would it be? What would you choose to help yourself? Would you choose to help yourself, or something a little bit more selfless?
Xenomorphs.
Xenomorphs. How about you?
I realize they may be adding them, but I want them.
If you could add one thing, what would
Pleasure
you
bots.
add? Pleasure bots. All right. How about you, Grit?
Well, I missed the question. Sorry.
If one thing you could add to CIG, to Star Citizen. CIG lets you add one thing.
Nice, there is nice.
Sadaball.
Is that a ball? Oh, that. Yes.
Just asking, can I be added back to the podcast?
No.
No. Okay.
I have to say, I really do want to hear an update on Sadaball. I was bizarrely always interested in Sadaball. So
The one thing I would add is just straight up mechs. Give me mechs.
Oh, fuck you.
Were you gonna
Yes,
take mechs?
Titan
Yeah.
armor.
Well,
and
I've
shit.
actually got something
that's
better.
Sean Tracy.
Okay, what would you do?
Dick Slider.
Space whales.
Dick slider.
Dick Slider.
No, I don't think that's an option. I think they have to have the dick slider. If they don't have the dong slider, then it's literally unplayable.
The question is,
unplayable.
whose metrics did they base that on?
Well, mine.
It's
His?
me and up.
What
It's
plum
too,
slider?
it's too
I've
big.
got a small and large dick.
Yeah.
So that's why the X1 has that vertical seating thing, right?
Yep.
Oh, right, yeah.
Extra
It's not
space.
to
Excited
show
I
off
am,
your
I know.
shins.
You gotta have room for the dangle.
Yeah.
It
Gotta have
detects
room.
environmental hazards, I like to think. It's very cold outside.
Environmental
You can see it.
Yes. How would there be physics simulation based on environments in CIG to
There
affect
will be
shrinkage?
when I get my dick slider. It will
Well,
be very
then,
different.
yeah, well, space is cold.
Yeah.
Well,
Yellow is cold.
Significant shrinkage.
Yellow's
on-
cold. Official
I couldn't
quote
fit
from
Shrinkage
Dark.
up the
Space is
wazoo.
cold.
What if yellow is actually really warm, and the ice
Well,
needs that
there.
heat?
well, I'll be able to tell you SMB as soon as I get my dick out.
Surprise!
You know what I want to see them add?
Is that your moon probe?
So this is something I've actually been wondering about for a long time in Star Citizen. In the lore, a long time ago, it says that there are no robots. Like there is no like
AI.
Asimov style AI of robots, but we are going to have some form of ship AI.
And it will
It's
eventually
not
be the end of
that
the
has
game
to
because they will take
It's
control.
not actually artificial intelligence. It's just basically
Very smart computer.
smart computers
But
that,
I would like to see
that can't
that
think for
difference.
themselves.
I
Well,
would
it's like
to
our
see-
AI games.
Yeah.
I tried to come up, like, back when I was writing fiction, I came up with my own story of why there was no AI, but I would like to see the official lore of why there is no AI in
Someone
Star
wants to
Citizen.
clip Judge and put something in his hands when he's.
Or two, something.
Even better.
I think Rick
Dragon
Spitter and
builders.
myself have a perfect location for this.
Okay,
Wait,
so
I have something that is very ergonomically.
what the heck is
Oh my
that?
fucking God.
Free
He
that
did it to
stapler.
himself. Flip it. Flip it.
It's a pistol grip for a camera.
Oh,
You put
okay.
the camera here and you just hold it like this.
Or an M16.
It's happening.
Do it.
Or a dick.
Do it. Next question comes from.
Do you miss it?
I have it.
Please, just go. Just go, Zach.
You
I
still
have
have some left?
Yes. Dumpster Fire
How much did I miss?
asks, how do you guys think server meshing will work? And do you think it will allow massive fleet battles to happen? They've already
I
explained
can
how...
do that.
I can take this. It's
They've-
going to take 2 servers and mesh them.
Yes. Listen, I play a game called Life is Feudal. There's an MMO that's coming out.
Yeah.
It's an MMO that's coming out. They have 50 servers, and each of these servers are meshed together into one giant server. So the only reason why they don't do one single shard is because there are too many players and the map size is too small. It's still a huge map. It still takes literally an hour or multiple hours to cross the map if you want to go from one point to the other, because there are obstacles in the way and such. And you have to stop to get food and such. But it meshes the servers so that when you go between servers, you have some loading issues because it doesn't load in all the other servers around you until you get closer. But it works the same way as Star Citizen is going to work. You're going to have servers that are going to be together. As you cross the border, it'll seamlessly load in the next server. And because it's space and not an actual planet or like a stuff, it'll be easier to do.
Object container.
And entities that are further away are updated less often.
Cold as
and
well.
when something actually gets out of your view, it's not updated at
Yeah.
all and stuff like that.
So like in
Because
a battle,
there is no draw distance. It is literally if you cannot see it.
Yeah.
If your sensors don't pick it up, it doesn't need to tell you about it. But the
Yeah,
server
well,
itself can keep track of that and know
There's
that
the difference
if I
between the
keep heading
rendering.
this way, it's going to tell me.
There's a
my
difference
client.
between the rendering of those items and storing them in your cache and stuff.
Exactly.
But also the network stuff that it's doing as well. They are different things. So the calculations that it's doing are different, but they are both cold.
Yeah.
So we kind of know how it's supposed to work in the first place, and the idea behind it is that the more that people are gathering in one area, the more servers will spawn. Damn it!
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, in a
The
very,
more-
in
the
a
more
very,
s- the
yeah.
more the servers will.
The
pop
more your
up.
microphone cuts out,
Yeah.
Well, in a very rudimentary and not 100% accurate way of thinking about it is, it's like having a multi-core processor in your PC. It's still one PC, but it can handle multiple functions, and it's
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
That's a really loose way, but more generic kind
a
of.
lot of people
headspace
think
way.
when they hear server, they think like one place for everybody to connect to, and that's it. But that's not been the case for MMOs and other multiplayer games, like complex multiplayer games, for a while now, where everything's virtualized and interconnected, and you don't really see the borders between those entities
WoW doesn't even do
anymore.
that.
Everything's part of the same world.
Yeah, WoW didn't do that when it was vanilla WoW. I mean, when it first
Well,
launched.
WoW is still basically a 15-year-old MMO engine at heart.
Oh, exactly. Separate shards.
Yeah, but they're separate
Which is-
shards inside the game, which works similar to how the server meshing works. Is
keep
that
in
And
mind-
massive load screens between them.
Keep in mind, WoW 15 years ago was revolutionary.
yeah.
Oh,
And it's actually it has. I mean, let's be honest. WoW is still the only really successful MMO. I mean, Eve is good.
Chiron's
and
Call was
Final
pretty
Fa-
good. So is,
there's a few that are,
Online.
but WoW is
it's the
still
big
WoW is the daddy, yeah.
still the best, right?
It's
Now,
the granddaddy of them all.
if Star Citizen starts this new MMO, because WoW is winding down. WoW is winding down.
It is.
Who knows what Star Citizen is going to be in 15?
Yeah, bless you.
Bless you.
Sorry, I apologize.
Gesundheit.
All right.
Blizzard sending you illness.
I apologize.
Next.
Apologize.
Next question.
Like they're
Beamerun asks, do you think any concept ships can be justified after saying 3.0 is coming out for a year now? Oh my
Yes.
Jesus. Oh my Jesus Christ. This is a rant.
Do we have to do this again?
No, yes.
Holy
Question.
fuck! No,
You can just say yes.
Paul, can I?
Let him rant.
No,
Let him
no,
rant.
no rant. Let's just move on.
Okay,
because
no
we,
rant.
We've ranted about this 400 times. Yes, they're justified.
I
because
missed it. I missed it. My internet was shit.
No, like we've done it so many times over the last year or so.
I know.
It's a stupid argument
I know.
because artists have nothing to do with 3.0. If an artist is available, then
Yes.
they're using it. It's just what. No, that
Exactly.
doesn't matter. Fuck it. Move on.
I thought it was Chaley's fault. That it
People
wasn't
working
out.
on ships aren't people working on features. Period.
Artists don't work on code.
There we go. Moving on. Yeah, that's it. That's all you got to say.
That's it.
Yeah.
4 words. 4 words.
Jay
Artists
Lee is
don't
right in
work
assumption.
on
5 words.
code.
5 words, Darge. 5.
Gundam
Oh, Jaley.
Gundam Citizen asks, have you any of you read the series Lost Fleet, which is it's a book series by Jack Campbell? I haven't.
No.
I have to look it up. You'll have to
I
tell
read
us
a lot.
Tell us in chat about that, man. If you're
Please
still
do.
here.
That kind of reminds me of a TV show called Last Ship. Is
No.
there any connection between
Lost
the
Fleet,
two?
not Last Fleet. Lost Fleet.
I know. Lost Fleet and Last Ship.
Probably not.
Maybe.
I think it's a science fiction novel. Is what he's talking about, rather than
Last Ship is about like the post-apocalypse thing, and is like
The
this
last-
Navy
A
ship
load
Yeah.
of Americans
that's
being heroic.
was out
That's all
at
it's about.
sea.
It's
and
a
about
giant.
British
It's a
glory.
giant advertisement for the U.S. Navy. Yes, I know.
I'm
I've seen
still
it
pissed
before.
Defying Gravity got canceled. So. I'm not
Next
over
question comes from Nikolai, who asks Darge, "What type of wine, or no? We already
went through this.
We went through that. We already
Yeah.
know what it is." Gildas Alter asks,
Chardonnay and Bordeaux.
"Can I share the link for immersion in Morse code?" Oh my God!
that. Oh, really?
It's actually,
Oh, good man. Good man. Yeah, yes. Send me that shit.
I'm gonna put it.
That
in
would be
chat right
fantastic.
now.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
That should be part of the. You guys need to do another. What was the
I'll put it in chat for you guys here because I can.
the RNG stuff? Yeah.
In like Discord chat.
Yeah, in Discord chat because I'm using multiple computers right now, so it's not a little hard.
But by
yes.
the way, Paul, can I just say
You're so
that
fancy.
Borg
Oh, no, it's
looks
playing
fantastic
automatically.
with a cursor
my
on his
ears.
Paul, it plays automatically.
Yes, it does.
Just attach that to all your sub and Twitch
Yeah.
donation.
My ears.
Next. All right, so moving on to the next question. Will there be religion in game, like Jedi?
Yes.
Yeah,
Sure, why not?
there are. It's called the Church of the Traveler. It's already in there.
There's multiple. The Xi'an, I think, have a religion. Wasn't the Xi like
all of the aliens do?
yeah? There's multiple religions already in game. Religions are a thing.
But there's a human
Isn't that one of the
religion.
org?
Yeah.
One of the org setups religious?
Yeah.
Yes.
The journey.
Lamp.
Yeah, lamp.
I love
I'm a
lamp.
member of lamp. Yep.
No.
And there's
Oh,
also
yeah,
there's
one
also,
of the
yeah,
organization
the
options
speed crap.
is one of the
Yeah.
organization options is in fact religion, which means that because you got to remember that organizations aren't just player based, but they're also NPC based. So you may run into religious organizations. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if you found the Space Mormons trying to give you a job to do something because just like an Expanse,
religions
I
are
don't-
a company.
I don't follow the lore close enough. I actually have an org that's for alts, and it's the whole space hobo thing. I've been interested in that for years. I'd like to have an alt that literally, even though you have to have a ship to get into the game,
The
never
space
uses a
hobo
ship.
alt.
And the whole deal with this character being that they basically don't strive for any kind of material gain, but they just kind of see where the universe takes them, crewing on
Space
ships.
Buddhism.
and-
space.
yeah, basically.
Space
And I would
hipster
I would
Buddhist.
actually I've been meaning to start something on the forums because I would love for the lore team to put something like that, not really a religion, but some kind of group that is this like non-materialistic space wandering group.
Nomadic.
Yeah,
none,
but
of them, none of them
yeah.
fly ships. They just.
But-
They
well,
try
I
to
think-
find people. Yeah.
but also
Hmm.
my org specifically is about anyone who has an alt like that being able to share their connections and experiences and stories. But I think also I realized recently in lore that could be a really good kind of subsidiary career opportunity because you could utilize them kind of like Sherlock Holmes had his newspaper boys. You could have salvager groups and information groups that utilize this hobo network that are these
Are you
wandering
talking about the relay
vagabonds. Kind of. I mean, kind of.
There's actually,
But,
there's
but these
actually
wandering
a-
vagabons that have all these connections and have come across
Like
different
Relay.
players and
Okay.
NPCs. Yeah.
We're gonna move on because this question is hilarious because I think it's a reference
Sorry.
to Battlefield 2 or Battlefront 2, which is
Two?
Primordial Splooge asks, will SC feature Conquest?
That's
think-
capturing of flags, is it? So,
No, I think though in serious, if it's an actual question about like
Attack
conquesting, like taking over.
If
things,
you're talking about
kinda.
the game type conquest, no. If you're
Technically,
talking about the actual conquest of real and material goods and chattels, then yes, there will be conquest. There will be blood. There will be war.
Hail Empire!
There
You
we
will
go.
hear the lamentations of the.
Next question comes from
Wondered where you were going there,
the-
Judge.
Primordial Spooge. Essentially, we don't know a lot of those details yet because we don't know about home. We know that homesteads exist. We know that some places will be controllable. But we don't know any of the real details about it. We know that
Yeah,
they
there'll
want
be
to do
conquest. Don't you worry. I'll confirm.
There will be a
Emergently,
ship.
yeah.
There will be a ship that makes them. I promise you this.
the conquest-making ship.
Yeah, but that's all.
Coming with CitizenCon.
The Anvil Conquistador.
Conquistador. That would be actually a
That'd
really
be-
good name for
It'd be
an
religious as
exploration ship or for a building ship, I should say.
Yeah.
Religious exploration ship,
Yeah.
the Conquistador.
I like it.
Darge only goes into conquest when he has a nice $150 Bordeaux to supply.
The Anvil Inquisition. You'll never
Yes,
suspect
nobody
it.
expects it.
Go to the wine cellar, fetch me my bottle.
Next question
We're
comes
going to
from
take over
The
this
thing
planet.
is, this wine is fantastic, and I'm going to have more of it.
Next question comes from Beamerin again, who asks, here's a question. What do you think of the stupid purchase methods, methos, I think you said methos.
Meth. Are you saying
no,
meth?
yeah.
Amphetamines?
Mythos?
Methamphetamines.
I see it
That's
came
like
up
3
within my
times.
country. In my country, the Netherlands, for example, you have to pay 21% tax over a non-physical object. Don't bring that up with CIG. Bring that up with your fucking government, man.
Yeah, that is
That's
not
government law.
CIG.
It's just
That is
VAT,
country
man.
tax.
You gotta,
Yeah,
you gotta, you gotta.
Here.
You got to pay taxes in some way.
Guess what?
And VAT. If you didn't pay them VAT, you pay them in another way. Anyway,
Yeah.
so.
Guess what? There ain't no fucking purchase options for Canada. I pay in fucking American. And guess what?
It's twice as
The
expensive.
American dollar to the Canadian dollar is fucking bull fucking shit.
But it wouldn't matter if it was the.
But you
Canadian
know
dollar or
what?
the American
That's
dollar,
not.
'cause would be
It
the
is
same
not
price to you.
CIG's fault. They are
No.
forced to do what they are forced to do by international law. They have an excellent team of lawyers led by Ortwin Freyermuth, i.e., Messer.
But yeah, no,
So,
no,
you
You know what? Bring it up with your local
Let's-
fucking representatives.
let's bring it
Tell them
down
that
here.
this
Wrap it
new
up.
Generation. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but you're right. It's VAT. VAT, you have to pay it because of the European Union, and the reason why they
Yeah.
That's the reason why I think they do VAT taxes on Steam purchases as well.
Ooh,
Yeah, and it's also the reason why we have healthcare, why we have working services and shit like that, because we pay VAT.
Yep.
Board. Do the Brits now no longer have to pay VAT because you're no longer part of the EU?
No, they still have to pay
still pay
VAT
VAT.
because VAT is not
So we're
EU,
not part of
an
the
EU
now,
thing. It's
so
a
that we don't pay
civilized
tax to
country
our own
thing.
country.
VAT is different. Also, VAT different.
You guys can renegotiate.
It's VAT.
Listen,
for
Crit,
UK.
don't bring it up. Don't bring it up.
UK tax.
I'm just fucking.
Let's move on. Let's move on
Next-
before we get into tax debate.
The next question comes from Dongbat, who asks, "Will a Star Citizen have a robust cosmetic shop?" Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I would have thought it'd be a possibility.
When they let their artists go, when they're like, "Yo, make us skins for ships," they literally will sit there and make 150. I think what were the last time they showed us? They showed us like a flash show of like 150 ships.
Yeah, loads
with different skins on them. Like, yeah,
think
But does he mean
Though,
cosmetics in ship cosmetics, or does he mean facial? Like,
Well, we're gonna have
change the-
tattoos.
I think
because that
everything.
would be
Yeah, I
that
think
would
all
be
of
so
this.
useful if you've got a bounty against you. Although it will be handle title, that sort of linked. If you could
glue on
hide,
your
if you
face.
could change your face, yeah, with a
They talked about
jabbing.
that a long
Yeah,
time
there's
ago.
nothing
actually.
I want to see more than Super Mac Brothers in eyeliner and nice cheek
dip
cheekbone
right
enhancer
face.
and shit like that.
They-
and
they
it's like,
did
it's going to be very tasteful.
Citizen Condage.
They did talk about that a long time
We
ago.
can make
There was
that
the
happen.
possibility of going to a cosmetic surgeon if you have a certain wanted
Even
level
Fallout
and
has
literally changing your appearance. So that
Yeah,
people
Fallout
might
has it. Yeah,
recognize.
exactly. You can go to a place, you can get your face changed.
Keep in mind they've talked for a long, long time about not just cosmetic upgrades, but like you lose your
Cybernetic.
arm.
Yeah.
You lose
Yep,
your
that
arm in
too.
a battle, and you get a new fucking arm.
Cybernetic.
Yeah, you
arms.
lose your
Cy-
head.
cybernetics.
Choose. You can
Yes.
choose organic arm or cybernetic arm when
Yeah.
you lose it.
So you
Probably-
like it
And-
once
and
your head
Probably more
chopped off.
expensive. Yeah.
And everything will have its trade-offs and balances. Cybernetic arm will probably be more expensive.
Heavier,
It'll also be
more like
it'll
this.
also be more powerful, but it will also die in an EMP attack. There's all of these kinds of gameplay implications that will be integrated into all of these
Checks and
decisions.
balances.
And you
Things-
can have a
things
blade
like-
in it, like Deus Ex thing.
Things like cybernetic eyes might happen. Like, we don't know the extent, but we do know that they are considering all of these sorts of additional upgrades to humans
And all
ships
of that
and
can
everything.
be grouped together under a single phrase: feature creep.
Well, it's
The
all of it.
chalice. The chalice that is feature creep.
It's all stuff that I think we'll see in the long run. I don't think we'll have it right away, but I think once they get the bases
Feature
done,
creep.
like once they get their basics done, like you'll see CIG go absolutely ape shit with the cosmetics. They will go overboard. 100% talk. Like, I've seen Jay Lee work. I've seen some of the stuff they showed off some of the stuff that Jay Lee does and some of their other fashion
Yeah.
people do. They like hundreds of concept art for various different types of clothing and NPCs and all sorts of things. So, like, you
Yeah.
give them the time, give them the opportunity, they'll give lots
And-
of second stuff. So
Especially
Well,
with
the one-
clothing, they now have the tool subset that will take any kind of clothing asset and automatically cull out all the clipping issues too.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Now-
while
now
they're
the one-
working on things like 3.0, they are still producing concept art because that doesn't cease. That production doesn't stop.
Oh, why would it?
None of the
I
production.
mean, even
stops.
in
They-
real life, you have
Or
clothes being made and conceptualized on a piece of paper before it's being made. Why would it
There-
stop in CAG?
But they're working on 3.0, but none of the rest of the work stops.
No,
None of the
yeah.
work for 3.1 stops. None of the work for 3.2 stops. Nothing
Or 4.0
else.
or
Let's-
Squadron or
let's-
whatever.
Let's move on.
Sorry.
because we're at almost 3 hours now, and our
Yeah.
our
I'm dying.
non-North American
Not for me
brethren,
though. I wasn't.
Who?
I was going
yes,
for like
but,
half
but
an
there
hour
are only
or
3 of
45
them.
minutes.
All right,
You were having a shit dash.
next
Yeah, shit so hard it broke the internet.
next question comes from Turd Tornado, who asks, "Will there be a ground vehicle that is only for cargo transport?" Possibly. I don't know.
Probably.
I'm sure.
No, we do know. CIG have actually said that there will be those. We can
Makes
see them
sense.
in a bunch of different. We've seen them in a bunch of different concept art. We've seen them in, I think it was the Genesis Starliner concept art, where they were talking about fuel-only transports. There were fuel transport trucks in the background, and then there were early concept arts of the road system, and there was talk of the transport trucks that would be driving those road systems on planets. So we have
tires on yellow.
Yeah, but we don't
Pretty much.
But we don't know if they'll be player purchasable or if you can get them in game or if they're just going to be.
We don't know if they'll be
Sure.
player purchasable, but we know that they will exist.
Next question
Sorry.
comes from Balding Eagle, who asks, "Will survival mechanics be like an Ark?" We don't know, but more likely no. They said
No,
that
they won't be 100% necessary, but they'll be important
yeah,
enough to be relevant to the game.
you
Buffs
won't
and
die
debuffs.
if you don't eat, but you will eventually pass out.
I want to
You will
feed
die if you don't
sandworm
breathe.
narco berries on the desert, and then eventually, after 12 weeks,
Feeding a
it becomes my
giant
friend.
sandworm.
Yeah,
What they have said is, if you're in a ship and the ship has supplies in it, you don't need to eat. If you crash land and your ship is destroyed and you're walking around in the desert, then you need to eat. And then the survival mechanics will come into play. They won't come into play unless you have nothing to support yourself.
yep.
Which is
And
rare.
I really hope it's not like in other survival games where you have to eat an entire cow every
No.
20
No.
minutes
No.
to survive.
it will
be
not be.
fighting
It
for the
sounds like-
lightest of survival mechanics if they would implement them.
It's
I
more
would
it's
champion that.
less than survival mechanics. It's more of a regen degen rate modifier.
Yeah, buff debuff
Um,
thing, yeah.
Yeah, even debuff and buff is almost too extreme. It's just
I'm happy to have eating.
it's a percentage
and that
increase
sort of stuff.
decrease in
Just
regeneration.
assumed.
Yeah.
Like
I
it's-
like-
with
I like what-
NPCs. With NPCs, you should have, if you've got a mess hall, if you've got access to food, then the NPC crew that you have for a ship is
Yeah.
cheaper because they don't have to buy their own food. You've got a mess
Yeah.
hall, you've
Yeah.
got all the facilities,
And you don't have
you've
to
got
worry
great-
about it.
Great quarters, you get a cheaper crew. Great. But I do not want to have to eat myself. I'm
No.
okay with
Right.
crashing
Here's-
outside
although-
and
here's
having
my-
to build
here-
a little radar.
Here was my
picked out.
proposal. Here was my proposal for that, which was, you still need there needs to be a way to prevent metagaming and power gaming from players who are exploring just going out to explore and then coming back 3 years later and not having taken a single fucking shred of supplies with them. They just went out and hung
do you
out. Like
They need quantum
you
fuel, they
leave
need loads of shit.
you leave
Armaments.
but you leave with just the bare minimum, and then you come back with a bunch of stuff, and you have because there's a huge cargo bays in these large exploration ships like the Carrack, and they should be filled up with supplies. But if there's no supplies, I mean, you might want to need to take some missiles, but
And
I don't
that's
you
what
don't
it
want to have
sounds
them
like.
carry nothing but missiles inside. So be like, listen, I can take on anything. So there needs to be some.
It
And
could be that awesome.
sounds,
Yeah.
it sounds like that. It sounds like that's what they're accounting for. Is you can show up with, like, let's say you're outfitting your Carrack. You want to go explore. You want to outfit it with nothing but missiles because you think you're going to get in combat immediately. You set out, and like 2 days in, you're like, oh shit, no one's got any food. My like support staff are rebelling because I didn't stock on any food. And the way it sounds like CRG are planning this is the food you pack into your ship, it's going to be used automatically.
Yeah,
You're
that's
not
what I was
going to
gonna
have
say.
to go to your stores and say, I will eat this steak now.
Yeah.
No, it's just you're
Yeah.
in the ship, you have food.
Yeah.
They only care about when you do not have that access to food. When that food runs out, then you have to go find it. When you
Yeah.
crash land on a ship
There's-
because you got attacked and have nothing, then you have to go forage. It's survival only when you don't have the basics that you need.
And there's also a logical
Like beer.
and physical correlation to how many supplies you bring and how long you can stay out. So you could fill
Yes.
a Connie with survivor with everything you need to survive for 3 years. You go out there, but you don't have any room to bring anything you happen to discover. But if you're out there for a week and if you've used you've
Yep.
freed up 10% of your cargo, You find something, oh, it could take up that much, and you can either take that back with a full load of the remaining survival gear you have,
Or you can keep going.
keep pushing it.
Or you could dump
Until
your
you know,
survival
like,
gear, whatever.
I have
Yeah.
2 days left. I have freed up this much cargo space by using all these supplies.
And the key of the survival
Yeah,
mechanic isn't to penalize you. It's not a face stuffing simulator like we see in Ark or the other place where you just have to eat every 5 fucking seconds. No one wants that. But the idea is
that also
make decisions matter. Your choices matter. Not
well,
just
that
with
and that
NPCs,
plays
but
into
players
that
as well.
too.
You know?
That plays into that because if you've spent arbitrary number 300,000 on survival equipment that's in your hold, you use that up slowly, but you have that limited amount of free space from what you've used up, and you're finding stuff. You need to calculate. Well, I've invested this much into the survival gear. Is this worth using up the hold space I freed up to make a profit when I get back?
Because
For a lot of
like-
ships, it's going to be the kind of. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Are we still talking about survival mechanics? Yes.
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 Yeah.
What I liked when Chris spoke a while ago, before it seemed to become more of a need, it was more of a sort of a stat boost.
Buff, yeah.
So buff. Sorry, yeah. I think that would work well in the sense that it would be a case of if you chose to eat, then it would give you a benefit.
It's
and then
both.
That would, it's what?
It's both.
You need
They've
to survive
actually
and
come
eat.
out recently and said that it's kind of both.
Yeah.
So if you have the basics, you are on a level playing field. But if you want to eat, say, an extra special meal before you go into combat, that extra
give you an
special
extra buff.
meal might give you a buff to your stamina
Okay.
regenerate
Thank God
or
I had bacon
something
and
like
eggs
You
that.
this
can
morning. Now I
sprint
can
for an
aim
extra
better.
half a second.
Well, the idea is that it's different from
Minimal.
drugs. The idea that is like because drugs are performance enhancements and that kind of stuff. But,
But
if
the
you-
issue is there's 50-50 people on the whole of from when I asked the question of do people want survival mechanics like eat and sleep. I personally do. I want it to be as in depth as possible, but it's 50-50 people. A big chunk of the people don't want it, so they need to find a balance.
Yeah.
The
And
middle ground.
that is so important.
I think-
Otherwise,
Here's the
a lot of
question.
people are like, no.
Here's a very important question: Is pizza a performance-enhancing drug?
Yes.
No, of course.
Only if it has pineapple on it.
By survival mechanics
No!
as well, 'cause I-
Fuck you!
Hey, Hawaiian.
Pineapple does not belong on pizza. and I
Hawaiian?
will
Go ahead.
Not
Go-
go
all right, hey,
in my podcast.
guys,
Go on, Bob.
Number
Small
one,
fish.
George is white with no pineapple on pizza. Good man.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Number two, so survival mechanics have kind of been brutalized and become micromanagement things. That's not true survival
Yeah,
mechanics
not-
anyway.
no,
and
too
like the way
serious.
that No Man's Sky does it, and a lot of the
That's
other
filler. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it is. It's becomes this weird sort of grinding mechanic thing. Now, obviously, Star Citizen won't be doing that, and the survival mechanics we're talking about are more to make sure that you will have access, as Eris said, to those things. But
Yeah. Have any of you guys tried the recent update in No Man's Sky where it's like the hardcore update where like
1.35. I haven't actually played the
oh
0.5.
my I gave up. I tried it 6 times, and each time I died before I could get my ship functional because the survival mechanics were so fucking
You took a
ridiculous.
a step. You're exhausted.
yeah.
But that's the point, and that's not
You
what
2,000
Star
platinum
Citizen's
to take
trying
the
to
next
get
step.
at.
Yeah.
At the same time, they're trying to basically make it say that no, you do need to consider food. It's this whole thing of no, you know what? I've got my freelancer miss. I want to stock it with nothing but missiles. Okay, you can do that, but you're not going to be able to step out of your system, out of your comfort zone, because you have no food.
Mhm.
You need to consider the fact that you have to eat. And that is not survival mechanics as far as I'm concerned.
It's
It's
like
not
refueling.
it's not like Rust or Forest.
Well, let's
any of those
let's,
survival
let's,
games.
Let's be straight up. It's a space game, and there are two things you're going to have to worry about: radiation and oxygen. The second you added oxygen, it's a fucking survival. That's a survival
Yeah.
mechanic.
Exactly.
Right? And people had no problem
It
with
is
that.
a space game.
That's fine.
It's a space game. You need
But
to
we're in
worry about
space, you
food and breathing.
No, you could regulate
Can you
your...
eat? Can you breathe?
That could be done through your spacesuit. That could be done through pills and
Yeah.
stuff you're eating. I mean, when I eat IRL, they could assume that my character is eating. That's
Yeah.
I don't want food and water mechanics. That just gets
I think-
micromanagey and bullshitty.
I'm personally
That's-
hoping they handle it like they've described it as a buff debuff system, and I hope it's more of a thing where everybody has a basic, depending on what gear you have on, but you have a set stamina pool, and it doesn't affect how long you can do something. It's more or less 2 guys in heavy armor suit, you can sprint the exact same amount of time, but if one guy ate a meal before he got into combat,
He gets cramp. And
it's
falls
well,
over.
he can
He
well,
has a cramp. He has diarrhea because he ate
No.
burritos. He's got to go to the
Well, what I
shitter.
think
He
what I think
sits
they're
for a
doing.
half hour, being like,
Eris,
"Oh my
yeah.
god, what's happening to my anus?"
What I think they're intending is it doesn't make either one of them be able to out sprint the other. It allows one of them to regenerate that stamina slightly faster, like a split second, 2 seconds faster.
And
But
it-
what the problem, the
It's a
contradiction comes in
regeneration
if-
thing, not because there's no stat bonuses. There's no
If
stats
they're,
in Star
if
Citizen.
they're
When
bringing
you're
in
talking
things
about
like
buffs and
disease and
debuffs, you are
poisoning,
talking about
Yeah.
stats.
It's
if
a
they're bringing in
regeneration
disease and
thing.
poisoning and illness,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
surely they need to have some like. I agree with what you're saying. The whole survival mechanic should not be so in depth that it becomes
Yeah.
a survival game. That's going to ruin stats.
Well, poisoning would be the same thing, just on the opposite spectrum. It would be you have a max
Yeah.
pool, but you don't recover as fast because you're poisoned. Whereas if
So
you've
they need-
eaten
Yeah,
it's the same amount of sprint anybody else in your relative gear can do, but you recover slightly faster because you're more nourished.
if you-
Yeah.
But literally, you're saying that this is not stats based. This
Well,
stats
you know what I
based.
mean.
That's
Yeah, I know what I
literal
mean.
stats.
You know what I
Let's-
mean?
let's
Not
be honest.
skill point was what I meant. Yeah, not stat.
Yeah.
Skill
Well, this
point.
Let's be honest. This is the exact same discussion that we've had before with weapons. Like,
Yeah.
should an Aurora be able to kill a Super Hornet? Like,
Even
like
if that Aurora
this-
is eating a bacon and egg breakfast.
exactly. but that's the
His
point. Like,
shields
this is-
recharge
this is-
faster because of his methane.
This
I'm
is the
so
same
fucking
discussion
hungry
that we
right
have.
now.
This is the same discussion that we have, and we're going to have throughout
Yeah.
Star Citizen's.
Oh
It's all
god.
balance. It all
And-
comes down to balance. Yeah.
And it's
eventually.
going to come down to this is what we think they think
Exactly.
about what's going to happen. We don't know because guess what? There isn't any survival in the game yet. We're not going to know until there is survival mechanics.
So
And
true.
then
These
they'll
are the-
balance them.
These are the first mechanics that I've had genuine issue with if they don't do them like properly right. And
Yes.
other people have totally varying opinions from me, and
Same
everyone. So, but the joy is that I think I can rile my audience up enough to agree with you.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think,
Get the
and I
majority
think I can
involved.
rile my audience up to disagree with you. We're going to have an audience battle.
But it's also-
I do
That's
think
part
I
of
do
the
think
beauty
that
of
the
the project,
community
though.
I think the
Yeah.
community is firm on two things. One, no one wants a face stuffing simulator because fuck
Yeah.
face stuffing simulators.
Yeah.
Two, they want decisions to matter, but some people don't want food to actually matter so much because like stat buffs and stuff like that is kind of
It's weird.
it gets
We
murky.
don't know.
It gets murky.
Well,
We don't know.
That's part of the beauty of this project is if they introduce this, obviously it'll be in alpha at some point, and if it's just horribly shitty, and everybody raises hell about it, they'll just say, fuck it, we're not doing that. That's gone. Hopefully, but
There's certain bits, there are certain aspects of that survival mechanics that
Yeah.
will work. Some
they
no,
could
some
dial
won't.
it way down, they could
Yeah.
push it back
Wait
way
until
out.
it's in our hands and then complain
Yeah.
about it then. But
Exactly.
Alrighty, so let's move on to the next one because there's a couple other ones. Most of these are kind of short ones, but there's a couple long ones that I want to touch on at least a little bit because I don't want to keep bored up until the break of dawn. Well, it is-
thank you.
He took a nap.
It's actually later for me than it is for board. So
Darsh, I
fuck
don't
you.
give a shit about you.
Thank you. Thank you, all you Europeans, for showing up. It is great. I love that we've got a pan-galactic pan.
Eris,
Sorry.
shut up. Moving on. I only said that because Eris was intentionally stalling that. He wanted to try to. Never mind.
I did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Next question comes from. This is a question I think Board or Eris might know best out of us. Maybe Darj might know because you guys follow the game a little closer. I don't know this at all. Punch a Wookie asks, "Will Squadron 42 feature the Lear system?"
The what sort?
Lear 3. Lear.
Lear
I
system,
don't know if it's gonna. I don't know if it's gonna feature Lear in particular.
I don't
We
know.
do know,
I
we know it takes
actually-
place in one. Most of it takes place in one system, but they confirmed that system.
We
Oh,
think.
Gone again.
Hang on. We think it takes place in one system, but there.
We think there
we
was a
think.
leak. I read one paragraph of it and I stopped, and I don't want to know more. And I'm quite sure, especially with my experience, because Half-Life 2, for instance, had a major leak right before release, and the actual game had nothing to do with what the leak was about. So they could change what Squadron 42 is about in relation to what the leak was completely, and we'll not know about it until the game is out.
I've had people telling me that we've seen like Earth, places on Earth based on the star location in screenshots from different ATVs, as like we've seen Earth as a thing that is mapped out already in universe, and that would have to be for Squadron 42. And as far as we know, Squadron 42 is one system and it's not Earth, so we don't
Squadron
really
42 several
know.
systems.
We don't know what system. Like, we don't know.
We don't know which ones. Yeah.
They have kept Squadron 42 so secret.
Yeah, I agree with that though.
We have
Okay, Eris, I'm gonna stop you there. They've kept it really secret, but they've leaked it 4 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they've still kept it secret.
Yeah, it's still been leaked 4 times. Like the entire script was leaked at one point, I believe.
I haven't looked
Yeah,
at it.
I know about it. I've read one paragraph. I don't want to know more because I want to be surprised when the game comes out. I want it to be an original experience.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
All right,
Turns out it's all a dream.
Next question comes from Preachman, who asks, is it reasonable to expect player count to go up before server meshing comes online? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Hope
They will have
possibly
different
with
ways of
3.0.
increasing it.
I don't think server meshing will even become a thing until they can get like 100-something people per server. That way they can make sure they have a maximum. The idea is, just like Elon Musk, they're going to test it to their upper limits, and they're going to see how far they can go beyond the limits without it breaking down.
Yeah, some tech they don't actually know already. They don't know how they're going to do certain things, but they have an idea and they're still working on it. It's like they said in regards to something, I can't remember what they were talking about, but they said about black eyes, people getting black eyes. They said if they can do it right and they can do it performance-wise, that works.
That was
they
my
will do
question.
it. If they can't do it, then they won't bother because it's just going to ruin it.
Yeah.
So it's the same with
it's similar to multi-core CPUs, next generation CPUs, but there's also per core performance. That, like, what we have now is single core, but that's going to be improved. And then when server meshing is implemented, then we have all the multi-core stuff. That's basically just what we have now, but just multiplied with how many more times.
I mean, what they're doing is they're making the game so that it's future-proof, so that if new tech does come out, they're not restricted to the old tech. They can still adapt it and use it to increase the game's everything.
All right, so next question comes from Cunt, who asks, is there female Vanduul? And the answer is there female Vanduul? Do we know if they're
there's female Vanduul and children, but we just don't see them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next
The
question.
female Vanduul has 6 breasts.
Next question comes from Swamp Ass,
Why not?
who asks, does Board Gamer polish his head daily?
Yes, I just
Twice.
polished it just before I came on.
With the best spit.
No. So I've got a very specific.
It's avocado
are you
oil.
gonna shill?
That I used to polish my hair to a lens cloth. Polish it up to the max. It's very delicate.
With checks from CIG.
You can't get this polished without being a shill.
They're infused with the nicest lotions.
For those of you at
Come
home,
on, we're all paid by CIG. Admit it.
for those of you who don't get it at home, we've all been accused of being shills, and none of us have really gotten a single dime.
I would love to be accused of being a shill.
Technically, I pay CIG.
Yeah, technically we
The
pay.
weirder thing is
Exactly.
that
The money's going the
I'm
wrong
sponsored by
direction for me to be a
I'm sponsored
shill.
by Oculus.
You are,
I
yeah.
fully disclosed that.
He's
If
a
I was sponsored by
shill
CIG in
for
any
Oculus.
way,
Yeah.
if I was
You
a
have
shill
to.
of any way,
Why would
I'd
you
say.
shill for Oculus? Vive is so much better.
I don't know. No,
Hashtag
Eris.
ad.
Oculus.
Eris.
Listen.
Eris, I love you. I love you so much right now. I want to have your baby.
The touch controllers, the touch controllers on the Oculus are actually much better than I've experienced with the Vive.
I couldn't stand them.
Anyways,
I couldn't stand.
We're not going to talk about
I
that kind
couldn't.
of stuff, though. I am
Yeah,
going to. I am
sorry.
going
And
to
Vive
pitch,
is getting nicer controllers in
In the
a few
future.
weeks.
and
Few weeks.
and I'm
Weeks,
still
not
going to make.
months, 90 days, etc.
I'm going to still pitch the idea to Board because I pitched this earlier to him. But From Other Suns is out on open beta right now.
Played it loads yesterday, and I'm
Yeah.
going to play it again tomorrow.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
really?
play it a
Awesome.
little bit. I played
fucking
the
awesome.
tutorial and it's amazing. It's like it's one of those
It's
games.
Pulsar Lost Colony.
It's-
mixed with
Is-
FPL.
question.
Ooh.
I have a
It's
question for you both. The Star Trek game,
Yeah.
is it
Grid Crew,
cross-platform?
yeah.
Yes. It plays between
It's-
Vive,
we should-
Vive,
But
Oculus.
you
PlayStation
need
4.
VR.
We should play some because I miss it. It's amazing.
Yeah, the
I don't have
population
VR.
is so low.
I want to play. What can I do?
Get
Get
VR.
a VR. They're cheaper
No.
now. They're cheaper.
Get
No,
a
they're not.
VR.
They're
They are.
actually cheaper. They're like
They're genuinely
Dodge, wait until
I
Black
spent
Friday.
14
Cyber
fucking
Monday.
thousand euros on a car. I don't
sure.
have money right now.
That's
Still
okay.
not as
I'm
real as
spending
VR, mate.
$400.
He says something $150
on
bottles
my
of wine.
house.
I spent all my money to go to VerseCon.
Yeah. Oh wait.
400,
I'm spending a
400
grand to go to CitizenCon.
All right. Let's not talk.
415,000
Let's move on. Let's move
for a
on.
house.
Eris, that's your choice. And
No.
I
Poop-
support it, but
Poop
it's still
Sock.
your choice.
Poop Sock asks, "Will there be PVE raids like WoW in Star Citizen?" We don't know.
Yes.
Well, the
That's
game
what-
itself is.
That's what Operation Pitchfork's basically
What's
trying
with
to
the
do.
fucking sirens all of
Huge
a sudden?
scale.
That's probably great.
That's me.
It's not me.
For once,
that's
it's not
me.
grit.
There are no Nazis.
That is my outdoor. No, we don't have anything recent from CIG on this, but the last we have from them, as far as I can remember, is them saying that yes, there will be things like PvE group raids of you're attacking a pirate base or you're attacking a this base or you're attacking a that. Like there will be raids of you and your group of friends trying to take out this specific area. That is something that they have planned. We haven't seen any talks of it in recent times. I
Yeah,
think
that-
that's about 2 years old, but yes.
Alrighty. Next question, because that's something I actually don't know about. So that's something actually to bring up as well in the future, because I think a lot of people who are coming in from MMOs, because there are people who are going to be coming in
Yes.
from MMOs to play this game,
Yeah,
are
that's a
going
good
to
point.
expect that. Even games like, I mean, hell, even Destiny has raids, and it's not really a
Brian,
traditional MMO.
And we think
how close
we
are you to
think
falling
that they're
asleep?
planned. We think that they're planned. We don't have any details on how they plan on doing them, but
Well-
we know they know. CIG knows that that's what we want.
All right.
I
so-
would think that's a natural progression of the mission system that the counter mission system where you lawful and unlawful, same objective. They could just scale that up in the future too.
All right. So the rest of these questions are all really troll questions, so we're going to rapid fire through them. This question is from Board Gamer, who asks, "Do you think my head is fat?" No, your head is glorious.
Yes.
Yes.
Next question is from Paul Shelley, who asks, "Is Grit Splitter living in a nuclear shelter?" Yes, he's living in a fallout shelter.
Twice.
Yeah.
With a green splunge.
Paul,
And the Elvis
whatever
style.
answer you give, I'm going to give the opposite.
I am not ashamed that I am asking. This asks, "Will there be 4K hemorrhoids with 4K genitals provided graciously by Board Gamer?" Yes,
Only for you.
but only for you.
Confirmed.
The Space Leather Bar asks, "Does anyone know if there will be a leather bar in Star Citizen?" Yes, it's called the Astropub.
No.
Next.
Yeah.
Dova King 45 asks, "Will you be able to rob a bank in Star Citizen or hack a bank and steal everything from it?" That's
Yes.
probably.
I
Yeah,
don't know if
that's-
there would be
Terra
physical banks.
Central.
I want. I,
Nice.
There'll be
I
small
don't
scale
want to
missions
have a
for
game
it.
where
Yes.
you can't
Yeah.
be a bank robber.
I bet you it's going to be a mission of some kind to go steal.
Yeah, Terra Heist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
It'll be the biggest heist
Yeah.
known in the verse.
Yeah.
It may not be at launch, but 100% that's going to be a thing.
Just like GTA 5, heists come later. Next question comes from Zoldus, who says, "Totally theory crafting. Well, maybe not for board gamer, but how would you like to have base building to be made, and how do you think you will do it? Already
Base
prefabs
building-
that you can block build, or totally freehand, i.e. Fallout 4."
No, base building is going to be the next ship. It's going to be the next large ship. It's going to be you buy the place that you want to place, and you store it on a ship. That ship drives to the place that you want to place it. It flies down, places it, and then you've got that
Game
that prefab.
changer.
Big. It's a big blocks. They're big blocks in single rather than multiples because it's difficult to build it in multiples. So they could do it in some sort of progression system. Though that's not how CIG does immersion. So.
I've kind of always envisioned it, if it is like that, that it would be kind of some kind of automated unpacking thing.
Yeah.
Like you bought a habitat module and it's compressed into
Yeah.
this container. You place it and it goes blip 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 blip.
But it's going to be
Yeah.
it's going to be a specific ship that places and unpacks it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that ship is going to be the game changer ship.
All right. Next question.
And I've been saying this for 3 months now.
Confirmed by Eris, CIG.
Next question is from Blank, who asks, "What are your thoughts on
Leave that
system-to-system jumping? It has been testing. Has it been tested in studio yet? And how do you think it'll work? We don't know if it's been tested in studio. They have made a previs about it. They showed it off.
It's just gonna be a loading screen.
No, but it's
It's going to be an interactive
We did see
loading
R&D on
screen.
it a long time ago.
yeah. The idea
we
is
did.
that it's kind of like Mario, where like if you continually forced to move forward, you can't move backwards. You're going forward, and you have to like avoid
Right.
obstacles and turn it. That's kind of how it's going to work.
And more
I'd
detail.
say-
It's gonna be different when you're the first person to
Yeah.
explore a jump
Yeah.
point and when you are just traversing
there's different sizes,
an
too.
established jump point. Yeah.
They've actually said that there will be different ways of doing it. If you're traveling a frequent jump point that you've bought the data for, you can just plug that data in and it will kind of auto fly you. But if you're trying to traverse a non-explored jump point, you have to do that yourself.
But also,
Yes.
old jump points will collapse and need to
They
be
will.
remapped,
Yeah.
which is where exploration ships will come in and earn their keep as well.
Yeah,
and then you
it's
can
going to
sell
be
that data. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And it's going to be all that. That is where the selling of data comes in. It's this jump point has been good for the last month, but guess what? It just changed. Do you want to buy the new data or do you want to try and fly it yourself? It's your choice.
Yeah.
There
Also,
was something.
But
we were
Grit
talking
Spitter
about-
is selling the data, and guess what Grit Spitter is selling it for?
Yeah, exactly.
all the
Blowjob.
money.
your
There was something
firstborn
that Meyer
child.
and I discussed about like a weapon that is able to destabilize a jump point.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Ooh.
I like the idea of that.
Revok asks, comments on how to prevent players from camping jump points. Entrances are always the same, exits are not.
Security
Yep.
as well.
Yeah, and security. So, like, entrances to a jump point may be camped, but exits won't, and that's the most important part. Because most people
And that-
who do, like, jumping in Eve, if I remember correctly, is you wait for the exit jump and then hit them while everything's fucked. Like,
And it depends
also-
on
there was a game
policed
called-
versus unpoliced space.
Yeah,
There was
the
a
common
game called
jump points will have. Guess what? The common jump points are going to have guards. The
Yeah.
jump point straight from Terra to Earth. That's going to
Got a
be
checkpoint.
guarded.
I would
Yeah.
imagine it's something like Deep Space Nine, where you will have a station behind each next to each jump point, because there's simply going to be a lot of commerce going in that area. So there are going to be people who set up stations right by it. So makes sense.
There is
Yeah.
a game called Independence War 2.
Oh, I war. Mm-hmm.
I War. Yeah, I War. 1997.
Yep.
Independence War 2. The jump points were between Lagrange points in a system, which basically is a point in space where the
doesn't move, yeah.
gravitational pull cancels out. And in the systems that were heavily policed, there was always either a station or heavy
Security.
Like a
security
blockade.
presence
Yeah.
there for both entrance and exit from a jump point.
And if you
So,
think
yeah,
back
I
to
can
Freelancer, that's the same way. In all of the main systems, there was like a military base in Freelancer that would patrol all of the jump points. That's the same way it's going to be in Star Citizen.
Yep.
It's
Oh.
yeah.
Next question comes from Known Unknowns, covered in meat spinning in the moonlight. Asks, can we have space whales? I want to be space Ahab hunting the last of the giant
No.
space whales.
None for you.
No, because
Yeah.
CIG hates fun. I
Yeah.
wish we did have them though. Next
All
question-
jump engines should be fueled by space whale oil.
The next
I've
question-
already done too much. I've already done too much fan fiction based on space whales. I don't think CIG are going to include them.
The next question comes from the last of the great and meaty unknown knowns. Asks, it's not the last question. There's 4 other ones. Has anyone seen the teasers of the film The Leviathan?
Yes.
No.
If CIG ever had space
I-
whales, it'd be like this. It's actually pretty cool. You should check it out if you haven't.
rings
Check it
bells.
out.
Is it a
I've
short
wanted to,
film,
actually.
or is
Is
it a
it
full
Moby
feature?
Dick?
It's a short
I saw
film.
a trailer and then I lost all track of it. Is it out yet?
No.
Yes.
Is
No.
it? No, it's not out yet. It was.
Yeah?
It was.
Okay.
Isn't it the last episode of The Expanse as well? The
Leviathan?
Well, there's
Awakens.
an
No,
older.
I haven't seen a single episode of season 2 of The Expanse. I need to watch it.
You do.
Don't
Read the
spoil.
book.
All right. Recty Rechtford asks, any theories on how player-driven black markets and smuggling will work?
It will be
No.
part of the economy. It'll be all part of the economy that is.
Yeah.
It'll work like a black market and like smuggling.
It'll
Yeah.
be the economy, but
In game.
Yeah.
well, it'll be the normal market, but
Player-
black market with different
Yeah.
ways of dealing.
That's more of a how will we skirt around CIG's built-in stuff. Is probably more like it.
You will skirt around their built-in stuff in game.
Yeah. Next question comes from Apollonus01, who asks, how will time be perceived? Slowly.
Yeah, slow motion.
And
Wibbly
also,
wobbly.
it also
As it
depends
has
on
Time keeps on
Timey-wimey.
slipping,
also relative.
into the future.
It'll be perceived relatively because that's how time is perceived.
Yes.
Yes,
okay.
according to Einstein's general theory
Theory.
of relativity, yes, time is relative.
Time doesn't exist. Existence is pain.
Time is a machine. And if anyone
No,
can give me
time
that
is the fourth
reference,
dimension.
if anyone can give me the reference of time is a machine, they win an Aurora.
Okay.
To the Google
To
mobile.
Google. Yeah.
Damn it! No.
Headclot asks, will we be able to hack other players' MOBA class? I don't think so.
I don't know what
Oh,
that is.
yeah.
No. It's too personal.
I would like it
it's,
to be
it's
an
basically
idea, but yeah, no.
it's basically your
Basically,
it's
your phone.
It's not your phone. It's your menu. It's your essentially
Yeah.
in-game menu. Is your MOBA class.
Yeah.
So.
You can spy on them, just
Um,
not hack them.
Board Community asks, at Board, who is the winner of the Nox for this month?
Oh, I haven't actually chosen it yet. I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's the first.
All right,
It's the
last
first of the month,
question.
isn't it?
Can
It's the first
it
of
be
the month.
me?
Fake news.
The
You get it?
Tavarin are fucked.
Yeah.
The Tavarin are considered like trash.
They're second-class.
The
Yeah.
Tavarin are used. There's actually we're actually when we come into Star Citizen, we're going to be living in the first time of basically the first Tavarin elected senator.
Mhm.
So we're actually in a slightly progressive time when we come into Star Citizen. But up until this
Tavarin's
time,
fashion.
the Tavarin have been treated like shit. They have been
Ever since they were
racially
conquered.
stigmatized and just like
They are the
Yeah.
Indians of the 30th century.
basically yes. So yes, there is that in Star Citizen. Sorry.
Humans are garbage. Weather at 11.
I would
Alright.
watch Darge do the news now.
That's it.
Space weather!
That's it for tonight. Thank you guys all so much for this longer one. It's not the longest we've ever done, but it's still pretty fucking long for considering what we have.
I didn't yell.
Yeah.
You did yell.
No, of
Yes,
course
you
did.
did.
You blacked out. You yelled.
Not in
Several
your
times.
ears, you didn't.
I did not yell.
And there goes. I can't even remember what the one that is.
Wow, that's an
Anywho,
interesting segment of
Somebody
green
clip
screen.
that, please. Somebody clip that.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you guys did enjoy yourselves, consider following me and all of these wonderful folks here. You can follow these folks if I hit the pod follow button. Two of them are mostly YouTubers, though both of them also do stream. Board Gamer and Super Mac Bros are frequents here. Board is actually a partner here at CIG.
Oh no! Oh,
You're
you
all from
said it now.
CIG.
Here at
If you would like to
Twitch.
support
Forward.
us, go to ImperiumGames.com.
I glanced
All
down.
your monies.
I
Scam's
glanced.
over,
I
guys.
glanced
The
down.
scam's over.
Oh god damn it! And then my mic cuts out.
Too
All
late
right.
now.
Hello.
It's all over.
I glanced down and saw CIG Sherman, and it just immediately popped in my brain because I'm tired and drinking. So, anyways, if you want to support this, you can watch it here. You can also watch it on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do like and leave a comment. Anything you do, even if you don't like it, you can dislike it. Doesn't matter. Just do something with the video. Because that helps a lot, and I will be having this video will go up probably at the same time as the last two, because the last two had a lot of coding issues. One of them I had to do in a separate channel, and the last one was like it's in 4 parts that I have to splice together because it crashed so many
It's Jake's
times.
part. It's
Yeah.
Jake's fault, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
What else aren't you
yeah.
supposed to say on videos on YouTube? Hitler.
Hitler.
What else?
Hitler,
Terrorism.
Eris is the second coming of
Apocalypse.
Hitler.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Avocados.
Jesus,
PewDiePie.
Boobies.
America sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
now that
hail Britannia.
now that my YouTube ad revenue is completely knockered. Thank you guys for
It's
hanging
in
out.
the negative.
Isn't
You
it
actually
knackered?
have to
Isn't it
pay
knackered?
Have a good
to
night.
upload a video.